Are we here now? No, it's all good.
Hello. Hey everyone. It is your pal Big Nono once again here with the games of the year tier list, and as always, I'm here with good friend of the channel Panda. She's right up there. Got her on my PC downloaded so we can
Downloaded.
do this tier list. Yeah, got Panda downloaded. Her entire consciousness, in fact, right here on my PC. Surprisingly, it didn't take that much space. Um, but yeah, so a few things that should be said. For one, you may notice that this is a tier list for games of 2025, and it is almost halfway through 2026. And we were going to do this much earlier during the year, but then I had exams, and then I don't know if you've heard, but there was a war here, and the whole thing just kind of. So yeah, there were some challenging times, and things kept getting delayed. But hey, important thing is we are here. We've got games to talk about, and it's all good. Another thing that's kind of weird is that I think this might be the shortest one of these we've done yet because we've been doing these since 2022, I believe. And this is the first time you've ever had more games than me on the list. Sorry, less games than me on the list. And neither of us have that many. And we have a very not insignificant overlap this time. So yeah, this might be kind of a snappy one, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um,
How does No sound, by the way?
oh yeah, if anyone can comment on audio balance on my
Oh yeah,
side
did you
too.
want to share the chats or
Oh yeah, we could definitely do that. So Twitch can once again tell me that my stream streak has been broken. I'm very salty about the fact that like I had a and I try not to pay too much mind to the whole stream streak thing because it's kind of a not great thing in many ways. But I did have like 150 stream streak with Panda, and one day I think this was last year actually we did this and it broke my streak because we streamed
yeah.
together so I
Did
wasn't
you get the
watching her.
invite?
I did not. I actually sent you one, so I don't know
Nice.
how that works. Um, oh wait, I did get it. All right, I see. No, I didn't get it. What the fuck? All right, hold on. Mm-mm-mm. Hey,
Good guy
garlic, what's
Twitch.
up? Okay, stream together.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Uh,
that you can have viewer call-ins. Like, okay. Oh no,
okay,
it
try
says
to do it again, maybe,
hold on.
because I
It
can't
doesn't tell
find it.
me in here, but then when I went to click on it, it says that you sent me one and it's awaiting a response. But it's like, okay, so how do I accept the response?
God, I love this website. Uh, how do you share stream? Okay, try again, maybe. Maybe this time I will get it. Also, garlic. Do me and Pan like voice is the volume balance between me and Panda okay? Have you sent it? Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. I got it. I got it. I got it. Okay. Shared chat. Why it doesn't? Okay, now I see shared chat. Sounded quiet on hers. Okay, so apparently my volume needs to be a bit higher on Panda's side. I will let her deal with that.
Um, can you boost me in Discord at all?
Uh oh, do I sound
No, you sound fine. They said you sound fine on my side. That's why I was saying
Oh,
on
okay,
your
weird.
end, can you just boost me a bit?
Boost.
Yeah, yeah. Weird, because Garlic in mine is
Can you hear
saying
me?
the opposite, that I am a bit quiet on yours, so I don't know.
Should be able to do
I
benefits
don't
as
know.
well.
Can I boost you? Can I do anything? Am I capable of doing anything? I'm not sure. Mm.
I think you have to like, yeah, if you
Oh,
right
there.
click like
Found it.
my picture.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's showing the stream, so I couldn't tell. But yeah, now it should be fine. I sound crisp. Nice. Hey Eddie. Hey Coconut. Okay. So how do you sound now? All good? All good on all sides? Hey Gulch, what's up?
Hello, everybody. Not gonna take my streak.
Okay, I'll take silence as a tacit agreement here and just say that we're probably fine. So yeah, welcome again to Games of the Year 2025. Quite late in the year. Um, but you know, as I believe that both Panda and myself consider ourselves content creators, influencers.
Yeah, totally.
Um, Panda, I think told me in the past you think of yourself as a tastemaker, which you know is a bit conceited, but I'll let you have that. So it's very important that we get this out of the way, even if it's a bit late in the year. So getting right into it. Usually, Panda starts because she has more games, but I think this year because I have slightly more, maybe it makes more sense for me to start. Is that okay? Would you be fine with that, Panda?
Yep, sounds good to me.
Okay, cool. So let me start with a game that I don't know that a lot of people have heard of, and I've certainly kind of semi forgot. Oh, is Q screaming back there? Nice. Yeah, I kind of forgot that I played this honestly, so it's a good thing I took a
Wait, what?
list.
This screen got all tiny. It's a screen
Oh,
for
is it
ants
doing?
now.
Oh my god! All right, I know what that's about. I know what that's about. Let me know if it's okay now.
Yep, good now.
Okay, so I can't use the preview or the studio mode.
Oh,
That's fine. We'll
rude.
deal with that. Yeah, my first game talking about this year is Skin Deep. You can't. Oh my god, this is going to be a problem continually with games because the current game thing is going to be over uh, the logo wherever I put it.
What do you mean
You
it's
know what?
beautiful?
Mm?
It's beautiful. I see no
Exactly.
problem.
Graphic design is my passion, as you can tell. It's actually this year I actually took some time to work on this, so it's not looking as bad as it could have. I know you're thinking Panda is the artist here, so why doesn't why don't you defer to her judgment on this? Don't worry about it. Don't talk logic to me. Anyway, Skin Deep. So for those who don't know, this is a game that kind of tries to it's very heavily inspired by immersive sims of various types. A big influence on this game is System Shock 2. So it's a mission based game where every mission you go into like a stealth action level, very similar to, again, if you've played System Shock 2, you'd really recognize the sort of environments there. And the game, it is a comedy game. So it tells the story of, oh god, I just realized actually wrote bullet points for each game. I did not write anything about this game story. It's kind of forgettable anyway. This woman is she fights space pirates. She's like a space mercenary, and she has an ex-partner who is the big joke is that this ex-partner is like an anthropomorphic cat, or at least a talking cat. I think it's actually cat-sized. And yeah, it's interesting. It's not bad. The stealth is not good. The combat is actually pretty good. Um, Remember Me? I've not played that game. Actually, did you know? Because I looked at this today. Did you know that there's 7 Life is Strange games? It's kind of
No.
crazy. I thought there were 2. I just say because I think don't nod the guys who made Life is Strange also made Remember Me. But yeah, I never played it. So yeah, the game it does a lot of interesting things, and I even think some of the humor hits. There's a there's a really funny late mission where you infiltrate essentially this convention hall and you press a button and it pulls out this tray with like a few sandwiches on it, and then the tray retracts a bit more and there's more sandwiches, and then it doubles over and there's like sandwiches all over it. It's I don't know, visually it's really funny. There are a few funny gags like that, but a lot of the humor is very Reddit. If you've played Borderlands, you kind of know what I mean by that. um, it ends up being, not a bad time. I did finish this game, which there are a few games on this list that I've not finished or not even got close to finishing. But yeah, in the end, I did find this to be kind of a forgettable game. So I'm putting this in C tier because there's some good moments here, but they are a bit few and far between for what this is. But yeah, that is my first game for this stream. Uh, you're up, Panda. What's up? Which game do you want to talk about?
Hmm. All right, hold on. Let me look at the list again. Let me consult the list. So this is awkward
Hmm.
because I was like, oh, I should do like a similar tier, but I don't actually have any.
You don't have any C tiers?
No. Well,
Okay.
yeah, because when Yakuza 0 director's cut going to F, so
All right. Is that the one
I'm just-
you wanna go for next?
hold on, I'm destroying everything. There we go.
No problem. We
If
all
we
do that
want to do,
sometimes.
because I'm assuming, well, you didn't play that, right? You didn't play
I did
director's
not,
cut,
and I actually did think in my great
probably
it's
for
a
the
bit
best.
stupid, but yeah, no, but I forgot to deal with the case where we are going to rank some of these games in different tiers, radically so in some cases, I suspect, but
We'll
we'll
have to
cross that bridge when we
duplicate
get to it.
just duplicate it up to.
Sorry, you were distorted. What was that?
I was saying just duplicate it. We'll have 2 of them. Just 2 of the same icon.
Okay. There's some audio issues with Discord. Classic.
Classic.
Uh, oh my God, how do we? Because it's just going to break everything if I just cut off the thing. Why are you doing
Well,
this to me,
see.
Discord? Okay, hold on.
I can leave and come back if it's my end.
Okay, yeah, that might help. That might actually do it.
Alright, hold up. Doo-doo. Is it any better? I'm gonna say a sentence.
All right, so what's our next game then?
Well, I guess we can just talk about Yakuza 0 since we're already talking about it.
All right, go for it.
Well, so the thing with this is there isn't really like if we're talking specifically like it's Yakuza 0, right? S tier game. So there's that, right? But if we're speaking specifically on the stuff that was added, definitely F tier because like what the fuck? Like all like the scenes that were added were completely unnecessary. Not even okay, just fair warning, I just assume that people know this, but I'm probably going to be spoiling this a bit. I assume that most people here have played Yakuza 0 by now, but if you haven't, that's your warning.
Yeah.
But like the scene specifically like involving like Lee, like I don't know. I don't know what all of that's about. Like we also experienced it with without going into it, but with Kiwami 3, I don't understand what's going on. I don't know. All it just feels like they just regret all their decisions or something.
Yeah, it kind of feels like, I don't want to speculate too much, but it really seems recently like there's this beef between the people who stayed in Sega and the people who left. And the former are trying to shit over the legacy of the latter, and the way they've elected to do this is just retcon a bunch of shit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's what's happening as well. I mean, like obviously we don't know, but that's the only way it reads to me. Is that
Yeah.
it's like, well, you're not here anymore, so I can do whatever I want, so I am.
Yeah, and it's also like it's one thing to retcon and to change things in previous games, but it's so stupid and so tiresome and so pathetic that the only trick they have, it's like that meme with the bird doing stand up, the one where they're like get new material. Every single thing they do is always, oh, this guy you thought he was that, but he's actually not. Like there's not even any variety to the hack writing in the game. So yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
Yeah, and then like what was the only other thing I could think of was the multiplayer thing that I like never even played.
Oh yeah, we were going to we were going to try co-op that, but I guess we didn't. Weren't you supposed to play it with Doobie at some point?
Yeah, I think one of us wanted to play it. I just never even we just never even played it.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, maybe we'll get to it at some point, but yeah.
I don't really I think overall it looked fine. It did kind of seem a bit grindy though. That was a little bit surprising. Like cuz there's like a hard like you basically end up going to a point and then like obviously you get your ass beat, so then you have to like go back and do it again and level, and that's the idea, but it just seems like that happens like really early from watching other
Right.
people play.
Yeah, and honestly, not a huge surprise given just how much how grindy some of the mini games in the more recent Yakuza's have been.
So yeah, as much as
Mm.
it pains me, I that's where I would put it an F. Like if I'm purely okay, if I'm purely talking about the stuff that was added, I'd say F. If we're just talking about this specific release of the game, I guess it could be a C.
Well, mm,
We could just leave it
yeah,
on the
I
line. There you go.
leave it on the line. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. We'll do it like that. Just kind of swing, just right here. Yeah, I do not envy being in that position because, like you, I love Yakuza Zero. I think it's an amazing game, and yeah, a bit of a shame that they're kind of doing this to their legacy, to the legacy of the Yakuza series. But it is what it is.
Especially the best
Okay.
game that didn't need any help already, so I don't know.
Yeah, very much so. Like it's one thing to do this with Kiwami 3, but with 0, that is not cool. But okay, I am going to, unless you wanted to say something else about Yakuza 0.
Nope.
All right, cool. So let me do my next game. Now this is going to probably look kind of weird, but I can't use studio mode. So if the game is suddenly huge, sorry about that.
Giant
It's
game.
exactly. Oh, it's no, it's actually tiny game. All right, my next game. How do I do this? I guess honestly we can just leave it like this. My next game is Parasite Eve,
You better
which
not spoil
I
this
have
game for me, no
played.
no.
Okay, okay, fair enough. Yeah, this is my first playthrough of Parasite Eve this year. Well, I said it's weird. This is the first time I played Parasite Eve. I played it last year in 2025. I keep forgetting we're like 5 months after we should have done this. Uh, and yeah, played this game, and right off the bat, this is a really interesting game because it's a bit of a lot of people say that FF12 was kind of a proto, well, no, that's not true. I was going to say it was a proto MMO. It came out years after the big MMOs were already out. I guess Parasite Eve is actually kind of a proto MMO because it combines these real-time aspects and turn-based combat. For those who don't know Parasite Eve, I should say it's horror game, but instead of being survival horror, it has, like I said, turn-based combat. Again, if you've played an MMO, if you've played FF12, very similar stuff where you position yourself in real time, but you choose your attacks and your other actions based on turns. It works really well. I don't think any games has done this before Parasite Eve, but I could be wrong. And yeah, I found it really interesting. At first, it's very, very easy. So it was a bit dull at first. Then in the mid game, combat gets much better. There's a lot of great boss fights. Then I feel like in the late game it gets dull again, but just because there's so many random combats, and every time you try to explore, you get into random fights again and again, and it can be kind of tedious. But overall, again, I think it's just very interesting, and I think that the game is, in terms of story, it is very, very ahead of its time, I guess I would say. Much like the combat, it starts a bit slow, but it builds up with time. Aya, the main character, is very good. Her partner Daniel is also very interesting. There's like a comic relief scientist character called Maeda. I am probably not pronouncing this correctly, who has a lot of great moments in the game. It's got jokes. The game is really funny at times, like legitimately and intentionally so. And yeah, it is. This is a huge troll game. There's a few parts in the game where it will kill you after boss fights without letting you save in ways that are very, very trolly. And at the moment you want to like snap the disc in half. Not that I played this on an actual disc, but you know what I mean. But in retrospect, it's really funny, and it's really it never gets old watching someone else play this casually for the first time and kind of go through the same missteps. um yeah, so I guess without spoiling, this is pretty much all. Keep it to really liked it. It's got its issues. It does get very tedious at times. This is kind of, it's again a lot like Yakuza 7 in that I would have liked to see where they go with the ideas that this game started with mechanically. Unfortunately, unfortunately, it seems Parasite Eve 2 is a much more standard survival horror game, which I still want to play at some point, but it's just a bit of a shame that they did it like that. But, it is what it is. So, yeah, I'm going to put this in. I'm going to like do the panda trick and put this right between A and B because it wasn't amazing, but I, I I will say instinctually it's kind of a B tier for me. But it does so many things that are so interesting and so ahead of their time that I feel like rewarding it by just like bumping it up a bit like that. Um, so yeah, that is Parasite Eve. What next for you, Panda?
I don't know.
Tough choices.
I'm trying to think of the overlap we have because I'm assuming you have Look Outside as well.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Uh oh, okay, I guess that's do you want me to do a game that I know that we don't have overlap with? Or
It doesn't matter. We'll have to deal with this at some point, so might as well get it out of the way.
um then let's talk about Bloodborne.
Oh, okay. Well, this won't be on my list, but I have played it, so yeah, we can definitely talk about this. Uh, Hold on,
Hey
let me
Val.
just because this is going to have the same issue where
Giant game.
every every game that's on Steam I have in a standard size, but okay, this is another tiny game.
Small game.
Uh,
Game for ants.
yeah, exactly. Um,
So let's see.
all right.
Honestly, well, I liked Bloodborne. We can get that out of the way. Um,
Okay.
Granted, I have I guess, a unique perspective on the game because I didn't play it technically by myself. I
Mm.
only played with one half of the controller.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that's what you did. Oh my god.
But honestly, yeah, I really enjoyed it.
2 people on
I
three
would
for a first playthrough is so funny, by the way.
but I had as much fun doing Bloodborne with two-person one controller as I did with Sekiro. I don't think Ross had as much fun with Sekiro as he did with Bloodborne, but you know, I think Ross was just frustrated in general with Sekiro.
Yeah, the Sekiro streams definitely seemed more contentious, shall we say.
But yeah, I mean, I've always really liked the look of Bloodborne. Like I like the way the game looks, I like the way it presents itself. I think the monster designs are great and absolutely fucking disgusting. And I can't
Yeah.
stand looking at them half the time, but I have to look at them because I have to fight them.
Yeah,
Um
it's like absolutely disgusting brackets complimentary.
yeah. But the bosses honestly were a lot of fun. I'm trying to think there wasn't really a boss that I was just like, what is the point of this boss? Like I felt like it just could I mean, I'm sure there was probably bosses that you could just remove from the game and it would mean nothing, like no one would miss them, but I don't know. I thought they were all really interesting. Granted, okay, we only played the base game. We didn't do any of the like chalice stuff or, you know, nothing fancy, just the base game. But
Have you
I,
done optional bosses, DLC, that kind of thing?
I don't think we did. I don't remember now. Did we?
Mhm.
What were we even voting for now? I don't even remember. But uh the only thing I would say is uh, I it could just be that I was only playing with one half of the controller. I don't know. But I felt like it was a lot easier than Sekiro to me. And obviously like that's the only game I can compare it to because those are the only two Souls games I've played.
That's so funny to have like the only Souls games you've played not have Souls in the title.
Yeah.
That's great. Uh,
Um But yeah, I don't honestly I would give it a solid A. Like I don't think it would be a game that I would like play again myself personally, but I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it a
oh,
lot more than I thought I would.
mm-hmm.
And we got through
Uh,
the stream and I didn't vomit, so I'd call that a win.
that's always a good sign. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I will just say briefly because I've played Bloodborne many. Oh, that's the wrong tier. I played Bloodborne for the first time many years ago, and I've played it many times since. Banger game. I would probably put it in S tier for myself, but that's to each his own on that. Um, yeah, I will say very interesting game to experience for the first time. 2P1C. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Mm, sorry, OJ in chat says P reminds me of a modern era take on Vagrant Story. How so though? Because those two games are pretty much from the same era. Um, Ross also hates Sekiro. Yeah, well, sometimes people are just wrong about things. It's fine.
Yeah, he's entitled to his wrong opinion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so A tier. Let me follow up with my own. And this is again, I think, a game. I heard about this game purely thanks to like a random person I follow. I think it was Aura slash Moom, a Canadian game dev that I follow on Blue Sky. I think she mentioned this game. It is a very cool little game called Ooh. Just O three times. The first one with an umlaut. And Ooh is a very cool little puzzle game. You play this little worm thing that's made of. I think you're initially made of two balls, and you get a third ball at some point. Don't worry about it. Um, and it's a very physics and mobility based puzzle game. It's one of those puzzle games where not only do you have to expend a lot of effort understanding how to solve a puzzle, how to get through a room, but also the actual execution matters. Like sometimes there's a platforming aspect to it, sometimes there's a timing aspect to it. Really, really clever, very short game, very cheap. It's one of those, buy it for like, I don't even remember, is it like 15 bucks full price? Buy it cheap, finish it in a one sitting. I basically like had a beer and banged this out in one evening. And yeah, great game, great time. Really, really enjoyed it. One of those very um, unsung games that I feel like, it's not amazing. It's not the best game ever. It's not like a game that I feel was robbed of Game of the Year or anything, but definitely, I think deserves to be played by more people. So I'm going to go ahead and put this cool guy. I'm um, changing the wrong thing. Hold on. Everything is breaking. It's all gone wrong, folks. It's all gone wrong.
It's ruined.
Oh, I understand what's happening. Okay, okay, I'm stupid. I'm stupid. Okay, there you go. So I'm gonna put this in A. It's so funny to have this game next to Bloodborne. Okay.
It's the same
So
picture.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you have weird worm creatures in Bloodborne as well. So same game essentially. All right, you're up, Panda.
Um, let's talk about Fear the Spotlight.
Fear the Spotlight. That is finally a Steam game. So this
Yeah, it's
one's
finally a Steam game.
yeah.
Um,
So I is this
Go
a
ahead.
game you've streamed? Because I don't remember. Is this the one that takes place in a radio station? Well, I guess I'll just let you talk about it.
So you and a friend like break into your school at after hours because there's a Ouija board in the like display case thing in the school that you want to use to do, I guess, a séance. Because you have two
Okay.
girls that one of the girls is like the valedictorian like goody two shoes like stereotype, and then her friend is like the basically like your resident emo kid, and they like each other and they figure that out at the end, thank god, because I swear I was gonna fucking scream. But anyway, Yeah, so she convinces the other girl who's never done anything wrong or gotten in trouble for anything at school to break in and get the Ouija board and do the seance. And then, obviously everything goes wrong because when doesn't it in a spooky game?
Hmm.
But yeah, honestly, the game itself is a lot of fun. Uh it's one downfall for me personally, which I don't know if it's really just a downfall of the game. It's just it's basically stealth based. Like you don't really have anything to like you can't really fight or anything. It's just it literally is what it says. You fear the spotlight, don't stand in the light. But
Okay. I mean, pretty self-explanatory in that way.
and some of the enemies are kind of just like I don't know, like I mean, I'm a bad gauge of this anyway because like I don't get scared, but I feel like even people who get scared, it's like okay, it's like a guy that has like a spotlight on his head. Like, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like the most terrifying
But then some of them
monster
were
to be
more
fighting from.
terrifying. Like when you get to the house, there's like the like water looking lady who I guess she's supposed to be like what Sadako, I guess, kind of like from the ring.
Hmm.
She was cool. I liked her, but she wasn't there very long before like you moved on from that part. But overall, I think it's a good game. I think it's worth playing. I would put it in A.
Hey, okay. On a real A streak right now.
All right, I'll try to balance it out somehow.
No, no, you're good. You're good. Talk about whatever you want. It's all chill in here. Okay. So I'm gonna be the hater. We've not talked about B tier yet, so I'm going to talk about a game that I actually streamed a fair bit of because I actually ran it for a while. A game called Heartworm. And this is a game, so in, I believe, maybe this was early 2025, maybe late 2024. Also, by the way, because OJ followed up in chat, Modern is in New York. Okay, so you mean in the modern setting. Okay. Yeah, Vagrant Story is a game I've been meaning to play. Maybe I'll get to it this year, because I've heard a lot of good things about it. Evilise. Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that. Anyway, Heartworm. So, yeah, I played the demo for this, and it was looking really, really promising. And I think what Heartworm does. So, first of all, this is another one of those throwback survival horror games. Tries to evoke a very PS1 feel in that it's very low poly character models, like very simplistic in terms of features and such. It is a beautiful looking game, though. I think there's some really good artistry here, really nice art design, and surprisingly good soundtrack. There's like this very weird piano theme that plays during the boss fights, which you'd think would get very grating, but somehow I thought it was really catchy. Wait, Panda, haven't you played this as well?
Hmm.
Oh, this is one of our. Okay, sorry. I kind of brought an overlap game out of nowhere. Is this okay? Can we talk about this one
Yeah,
now?
that's fine.
Yeah. So the problem with this game, despite I liked the artistry of it, I liked the exploration. The story is kind of nothing. It's like this girl who deals with her fear of death and her feeling that things are pointless. We've all been there. We've all been in our 20s, and it's a very very easy game. So it
Hmm.
feels very frictionless, and like some of the older survival horror games were very easy as well. So it's not like I needed this to be a brutally hard game or anything. In fact, I'll talk about a game later that did feel it had to be brutally difficult, and I think it was very much to its detriment. And but this is why I use the term frictionless because The combat is not difficult. The puzzles are not challenging. There's like nothing to really sink your teeth into in this game. And they updated it and gave it like a high difficulty mode, and somehow that made the game even worse. So yeah, I liked this game enough to speedrun it. The speedrun was kind of fun, but I honestly thought overall it was nothing to write home about. What about you, Panda?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have to agree. I really like the first area a lot. Like the first area is super good. It's just when you start leaving that area and going to the next ones, it starts like slowly like unraveling for me. And then it kind of like really
Forest
falls
area,
off
you
a
mean?
cliff when you get to like the very final boss, and then I realized you could just like stand near the back in like this one corner, and like you can just stand there and he can't hit you, and I'm just like, but I do to your point, like how you were saying like older survival horror games were also easy. Like some of them were. I don't think a game necessarily needs to be hard to be enjoyable, but I feel like if it's not like if the gameplay doesn't bring something, then like the story has to be like absolutely solid. You know what I mean? You need like a really good story, really good like settings, just so I feel like it was there, I think. Like they were I see what they were going for, but it didn't quite have like the polish, I guess, that I wanted. Like but yeah, you're right. Like the story started interesting and then you realize that it's not like nearly as deep as I was hoping, I guess.
Yeah, and that's hey Foxman, what's up? Oh yeah, yeah. That's the thing because if you played the original Resident Evil 1, by which I mean either the PC version or the original Japanese PS1 release, that game is also very easy. Like enemies barely do any damage. You finish boss fights very quickly, but at least you had the exploration. Like you had really good level design. You had interesting bosses, even if they weren't difficult. You had some more challenging puzzles. This game, yeah, just doesn't do much. Like you say, the story is very weak, and this is kind of mean. I know, especially evoking OGRE1, I shouldn't talk about voice acting, but the voice actress for the protagonist in this kind of sounds like when you start out streaming and you don't project your voice very well and you don't enunciate very well. It's kind of that kind of vibe from her. So it makes the story, which in the first place is not great, hit even less. Um, and they do bring in Susie Hunter at some point, who is a good voice actress, but she has like two lines at the end of the game, so it doesn't really go for much.
So where would you put it?
For me, this is a B tier.
Yeah, I can agree.
Okay, cool. So we don't have to decide on how to deal with the problem we will have later just yet. So that is good.
I'm assuming that the developer is going to keep making games. I would love to see like what else they do. Like I'm interested.
Yeah, yeah, I am absolutely. This is not one of those cases where I think, oh, this is terrible and you should be ashamed. Like, no, this is a decent first game. And like you say, because the artistry is so good, because there's actually a lot of positives here, I am very curious to see what they do in the future. Absolutely. If I hear they've made another game, I will definitely be interested in playing it. But okay, so I guess since this was a joint game,
Do you need to do
uh,
another one to keep it even?
I, I don't think we need to worry about it that much. Do you have one you want to talk about right now? Because I can go either way.
Well, since we were talking about indie game, well, I mean, we did talk about indie game before that because Fear the Spotlight's also indie game. So we're just on indie game jam, I guess. We can talk about
I mean, most of the
Cursed
games I played.
Cursed Digicam, I guess. That's a
Oh,
Chillaz art game.
I was just gonna say most of the games I play these days are
I th-
indie, so it's par
it
for the
it
course.
was actually weird. I think was that Chilla's only release last year, or am I missing a game? Now I feel like am I going crazy?
Wasn't there a re-release of that weird game they pulled at some point?
Oh, the bathhouse. Yeah. I can talk
Yeah.
about that too. I didn't put that on my list, but
Um.
you're not wrong though. It is
Yeah.
technically a different game because they do take part of the story, but they actually ended up rewriting it quite a bit. Um
Okay, I can let me just real quick um download the Steam art for this. Yeah, so we will add it to the docket, but for now, yeah, let's go ahead with Cursed Digicam.
so this is purely like the traditional Chilla's art game. Like this one's even more kind of funny to me because like the beginning is like super slow. Like you're just in this park, right?
Hmm.
Um and you're basically just finding things. I believe you like to take pictures, right? I'm sitting here trying to remember. I remember like the what actually happened at the end more than what happened at the beginning at this point. But it yeah, it's weird. And then there's like this like guy, there's just this character that kind of reminds me of Goofy that just like ends up appearing like he like
Guess
at
she'll
the
let him hit.
beginning he appears, but it's like in the background. Like you can't get to him. Um Bathhouse release was 2024. Didn't play it then. Oh, the re-release of it. I don't remember when the re-release of it was. So if it was 2024,
Wait,
then we can skip it, but I don't remember. But
let
anyway,
me look on Steam again. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was 2024. So I guess you're not allowed to talk about it.
I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Banned. No, I mean if you want to talk about it, that's fine. It's up to you.
Nope, not allowed.
All right, fair enough. Rules are rules.
But yeah,
But
you
yeah,
basically are just like capturing like shadows, I guess, with like this camera, and there's like weird things all over the park, and you're kind of like trying to figure out what's going on because it's all kind of I mean it's Chilla's art, so it's all kind of disjointed, and you're like, I know this is Chilla's art, so I know this all means something. I just don't know what it means. Um and then eventually when you progress, because I think you need like, I don't remember, it's like 12 things or something. And then when you finally go in the house, that's when everything starts to go to shit and you realize I just love the twist for this game. Like you end up being chased by the weird goofy looking thing in the house, which actually I will admit that he is, yeah, he's kind of scary. He's just like, what is this fucking guy? But
right.
yeah, I think if you like Chillizards games, you should play it. I don't really want to talk about the end because the twist was very good. So if somebody does want to play it, I would rather them experience it for themselves. But I think that this was a nice, like, throwback to like classic Chillizards games. Because recently, I feel like they've been doing a lot more, like experimenting, like just doing different kinds of games, which I'm all for, to be honest. Like I think they do their best work when they're just like, messing around and throwing different ideas around. Cause like some of them work and then some of them just don't.
Right.
Kind of like Umigari, but that's for next year. We'll talk about that next year.
Yeah, there's a few. It's funny because there's a few games we really could have talked about already, but no, that's Panda and Nono's problem. I am aspiring. I still don't know if either of us will be able to make it, but I think it would be really fun if we could do the 2026 games tier list at AGDQ in person.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah. But okay, so where would you put Cursed Digicam then?
I think it's a solid B. It's
Solid.
not their best game, but it's a game.
That
It's
is,
certainly a game.
the highest praise you can get. It's a game. All right. Let's put it right. I sorry that I'm doing this while you're talking, but I kind of try to
No,
reorganize.
you're all
I
good.
can see we're going to run out of uh, space otherwise. Okay, so I guess I'll do one next, and my next one, believe it or not, well, I'll comment on this in a moment. But the next game I'm going to talk about, and this might be our actual first huge game. Let's see.
Huge
Mm,
game.
yeah, might be. Might. Oh yeah, this is a big one.
Just put it
Oh
all on the screen. There you go.
oh Lord, he coming. Yep. I'll just put it over like right here between us. No, my next game is Order of Ecclesia, which I played courtesy of the Dominus Collection. For those who don't know, this is a collection of Castlevania games, handheld Castlevania games. I think specifically DS Castlevanias that was released. I'm not even sure if it was released in 2025, but I played this in 2025. Am I ever going to be able to crop this properly? Close enough.
What's her name? She looks hot.
Dude, she's so fucking hot. I don't know how they did it. This is actually something I wrote about. So I will say the name in a moment because I forgot to put down notes for this. But yeah, so this is the only 2D Castlevania I've ever played. I'm pretty sure, and um, I was very. I don't know if I would say I was surprised, but I was really happy with just how much I enjoyed it. Her name is Shanoa, by the way,
Shanoa.
and mm?
Can you say her name one more time?
Shanoa,
Shanoa. Okay.
yeah, and yeah. So the point of order Ecclesia, it's a lot like okay, so there's a mechanic that was introduced in a previous Castlevania game called Aria of Sorrow, which used to be my second favorite Castlevania. I think now this is my favorite one. And sorry, this is my second favorite one. I would still probably pick Symphony of the Night over this one, but it's very good. And yeah, Aria of Sorrow introduced a mechanic where if you beat up enemies enough, you could collect their soul and it would give you essentially sub weapon you could use based on their abilities. And it was kind of a bad system, even though I really like the game. It's not a very good system. It's very grindy. She is really hot, and there's a game called Ender Lilies. I've not played the Ender Lilies sequel. Maybe I'll play it this year and then we'll talk about it next year. But that game actually has a really good variation of that system. This one is kind of in between. It's not quite as grindy. It gives her attacks, just her regular attacks are based on enemies, and there's a lot of variety in the attacks, and each attack comes with a special ability attached to it, and you can combine different attacks from different enemies. It's a really interesting system. Great level design. Yeah, just like a very good 2D Castlevania. And I even think the story in these games is usually nothing to write home about at the very least, but it's actually got some interesting twists and turns to it. There's also a mechanic where there's a village where the inhabitants got captured by the monsters, the bad guys, and you liberate them one by one, and it adds all these abilities and all these shops to the village, and it's a very nice mechanic as well. um, this is not fully a Metroidvania in the sense that it is divided into discrete levels, but there is a bit of it. Like you can revisit levels with abilities you get later and explore previously areas you couldn't reach and open up new paths to new levels. It's very cool in that regard, and it's a pretty difficult game. Like I died a lot even during the regular levels in this. It's kind of brutal, but not in a frustrating way. Like it feels it's good difficulty. And yeah, and Shinoa is so hot. Like, I don't know. Look, we all know pixel art is kind of became kind of a lost art form, and then indie devs kind of brought it back to an extent. But I don't know. I don't know how they took a pixel art character and made her this hot. Like, I have no idea. You play the game and you're like, oh my god, she's so hot. So yeah, banger game. And I'm not saying it just because I want to bang the main character. Haha. Yeah, this is very, very much an A tier for me. I think what keeps it from being an S tier is that it's a really good take on a 2D Castlevania. I don't know that it does anything I've not seen before, but I had a blast with this game. I definitely would like to revisit it at some point. Ender Lilios is kind of slower paced. Yeah, it's a good game though. I really like it. But yeah, that is Order of Ecclesia. So what is your next one, Panda? What hot character game have you played?
Hot character. Now I'm like, did I play a game with a hot character?
I mean, I know you've played at least one.
I mean, Majima is in the.
Yeah, but okay. That's no spoilers for that one. Yeah. What do? Sorry, I forgot we made the agreement to keep. Well, never mind.
It's
Yes.
fine.
What's your next game? I'm being very
So
awkward
this
right
is
now.
really funny because we actually have to remove a game now that I think about it because I was sitting because okay, I have two Katamari games on my list, right? But
Yeah.
I actually realized that we didn't actually play the new one. I bought it and then we never played it. So I
Oh
guess
my
that
god.
tells you how good it is because I never played it. I bought it and didn't play it. So
I guess
we need a question mark here now.
you're basically like every person on Twitch in that you wanted to have an opinion about a game you haven't played
Yeah,
yet.
I bought this game and it sucks because I never played it.
Yeah, yeah, very bad. So
It's
wait, which one is the
Katamari. I'm
one you?
sure it's amazing, but once upon a Katamari, I bought it and yeah, we never played it.
Okay, okay,
I actually
fair
know
enough.
why though because we were too much Silent Hill.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But that's okay because we have another Katamari to talk about. We can talk about Katamari Rolling Live instead.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Let me pull that one up.
Didn't you play the game where the fish were people? Yeah, but that's gonna be for the that was at the beginning of this year, so that's gonna be for 2026. I had that game too on my list, and then I realized it was like the beginning of the year, and I was like, oh shit, well, rip.
Why is this not showing? That is very strange.
It doesn't want to be a game. It doesn't want to show up.
Yeah, I mean, look, we all just want to disappear sometimes, right? What the fuck? Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah. It's just okay. I'm not gonna be able to do it like this. All right. Hold on. I know what to do. I know what to do. Bam,
Actually,
bam.
I wonder. This is good because now I can look something up because there is.
Okay, got it. Got it. Just need to embiggen it a little bit. There you go. There you go.
I think it's
Cool.
still stuck there. Okay, so Katamari Damacy Rolling Live. Okay, I actually really adore this game. This has to be one of my favorite Katamari games. It's not my favorite because We Love Katamari will always be my favorite and nothing can beat it ever. There's just no way they can beat it. But this game
I've
is
never
so
heard of this one.
funny.
Is this a mobile game?
Yes, that's the problem. That's the biggest problem with this. It is, as far as I know, unless if somebody knows and can correct me, feel free. I believe it's still stuck on Apple Arcade. And I had a free trial from, I don't remember why, but I used the free trial to play it on my iPad.
Mm,
And we did stream it, and it was kind of ass. Well, the streaming part of it was ass. The game was great.
yeah.
Um but I love this game because it is super self-aware. Like it's basically the king was like, "Oh yeah, I learned what live streaming is. We should definitely live stream the Katamari rolling." So, yeah, it kind of goes off the rails really quickly with the like you have chat. There's a chat that's actually really fucking funny while you're playing. It's the only problem
Mhm.
is it's really hard to play and read the chat. But every once in a while, at the corner of your eye, you'll be like, "What the fuck did they just say?"
Well, classic streamer problems, right?
Yeah, but yeah, yeah, it's stuck on Apple Arcade, so like no one's ever gonna fucking play this game. I feel like most people aren't,
Mm.
and I don't know if it will still Apple Arcade exclusive. Thanks, Napa. Yeah, that's really unfortunate because it's so good.
Yeah, there was a game like that, not on Apple Arcade, but there's a game stuck on like Netflix games or something that I've never played, but the dev made a really good game that I liked previously. So yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah. And I get it because I'm assuming they made some sort of deal with Apple and got money for it or whatever, but it's still it's a shame because I don't think any Katamari game that was released on like a weird system has ever made it off of said weird system.
Mm.
Um, but I don't know. We can dream, I guess. But yeah, it's
One can
really
always hope.
cute that you get basically the chatters can have a request. You'll do a request for them and you'll live stream it, and then you have the chat and you're rolling, you're rolling around. It's Katamari. You're just doing the request while chat's just doing things. And it's actually really okay, so in Katamari, if you run into things, the Katamari will break and the chat will respond to that. So they'll start being like basically like saying things like skill issue and things like that. Like it's
That's
it's
great.
really good. Like, what is this person doing? They don't even know how to roll a Katamari.
Because there's a few games that have tried doing kind of an kind of a Twitch stream chat emulation, and it's always very obvious in what cases the devs have not actually been to a Twitch chat and don't actually know what it's like. So it's nice to see a case where that's actually well done.
That was actually just your chat. Yeah, that's what I mean. They did a good job. I think they actually did a really good job with the chat in this game, surprisingly. Because I
Mm,
wasn't I mean, I read the premise, but I was more attracted to this game because it's a Katamari game and I really love them.
right.
So I was just pleasantly surprised that the actual live streaming part of it was funny. But yeah, if you can somehow play this game, question mark, I'd play it. I'd put it in A because it can't be We Love Katamari, which is an S. But we'll never talk about that because that was released like 1 billion years ago. Maybe
Right.
we should do that sometime. Really old ass games that we played 20 years ago.
I have thoughts about that actually. Yeah, we should talk. We should talk because that's actually something we might. That is a real option for something to do down the line. But yeah, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what I feel about that privately. Okay, so that was A tier. I did A tier. Look, it's been
Where's the F tier?
it's yeah, it's been too positive here for too long. I'm gonna bring the
The
mood
toxic
down. I'm gonna be a
positivity.
hater once again. Exactly. Let me bring this up. Mm-mm-mm. I am going to talk about a little game that I would like to call Rage Bound. Ninja Gaiden Rage Bound. Oh
Oh,
boy,
oh
did
no.
I want to. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I wanted to like this game, and I ended up not liking this game. Hey, Slava, what's up? Yeah, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound for sure not the best ninja game of 2025. Um, so I'll say that I've not played a lot of the Ninja Gaiden 3D games. I've only played Razor's Edge on the Wii U, weirdly enough. But I have played a lot. I have played all the original NES 2D Ninja Gaidens, and those games were at times like they have the reputation for being hard in ways that aren't fair. And that's true to a great extent, but they were also really interesting and had a really like for NES games, they actually had decent stories and dialogue and stuff, which always surprised me. This game, in terms of story, is actually not too bad. I actually thought the story was kind of effective for what it was, but I don't know. This is a game that it does kind of fall into the habit of making the platforming pointlessly difficult at points. Um, I think it's well designed in the sense that there's a lot of good balancing between your regular attacks and your special moves and what the different the enemy variety that you come across. But yeah, about halfway through, it really just kind of nosedives, and combat, a lot of the boss encounters get kind of boring and repetitive. And in terms of the extras that you can do, you can go around collecting stuff and buying more stuff at the store, but the store really doesn't have much to it because there's only like one or two upgrades that are even worth getting, and the rest of it you only get to, 200% the game or something like that. You never actually need them. Um, Also, this game's store menu is like one of the worst designed menus I've seen in anything. It's actually kind of crazy how bad it is. I don't remember the details, but I remember trying to use it and thinking, how have they made a store menu an aspect of a game that you usually don't even notice? How have they made this bad? So yeah, I don't know. It's a shame too because I really wanted to like it at first, and I did really like it at first. This is one of those games, by the way, much like Order of Ecclesia, that I've played during the war to just kind of get my mind off things. And yeah, it just kind of got old. And honestly, without the war, I don't think I would have finished this game. I probably would have kind of kind of run in the middle of it. So yeah, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound unfortunately goes into C tier, and that is that for that. All right. What about you,
I
Green?
think I only have one. I think yeah, there's only one game left that. Well, actually, I don't know because you didn't play. Did you play Blueprints at all?
Did I play Blueprints? No, I have not.
Okay, so that's the only game I have left that isn't a shared game.
Okay, let's see. Hold on, I've not um, updated my list in a bit. So I have. I actually have quite a few. Man, I've got like, yeah, like five games that are not from both of us. So, oof.
Then go
Okay.
again.
What did you say?
I said you can go ahead. You can go ahead and go again then.
Yeah, I guess I probably should do at least one more. All right, I brought us all the way down, so let me bring us back up. I played a really, really, really good game. You may have heard of this one. called Deltarune.
Ooh, yeah.
So this is kind of a tricky one because I played the first chapter of Deltarune the day it came out. It was kind of it was a very fortunate coincidence, I would say, because I got sick and I called in sick to work, and then found out that Chapter One of Deltarune got released. I know what this sounds like, but I swear to God, it was actually like that. Like I got sick first, and then I realized it came out, and I just played the whole day playing chapter. I just spent the whole day playing Chapter One, and for a really long time, I was very insistent on not wanting to play the rest until all of it comes out. But this year, I just decided, what the hell, let's just play through the rest of it. And I played chapters 2, 3, and 4. And I don't know, man. Like, I think this is still a masterpiece. There is still not a Toby Fox game that I've not loved. I love Undertale, and I think Undertale will always be my favorite. But I can't deny that Deltarune really streamlines a lot of the aspects of the combat that can be a bit more tedious to deal with
Hmm.
in Undertale. And I feel like the episodic nature of the games allows them to kind of explore a lot of different themes with the same cast of characters, which I really like. It kind of gives it maybe a bit of mini-series kind of feel to it.
Hmm.
Uh, so the first game is, Frisk and Susie going into um, the Dark World and meeting Ralsei, and it kind of introduces the character and the main concepts of the games. And each subsequent chapter iterates on it in its own kind of way. Chapter 3, they basically go. I say chapter 3 because I'm blanking on what chapter 2 is, which I realize contradicts me
Chapter
saying that I think
2
they're all
is
related.
the, like, I don't know, like the cyber world thing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah, where they're ruled by an evil robot, which makes for a really good villain.
Yeah,
I
she's
really
great.
loved that one. Yeah. And then the third one is they're taken to the game show world, and the villain is this big TV guy who's kind of pathetic, and in a way that, yeah, it works really well. It's a very big difference from chapter 2, where like the villain is like they're funny, but they've got a lot of menace to them. But the third chapter um guy is just, yeah, just pathetic. And then chapter 4, you go into like a fantasy world, and there's the old crocodile guy, and that's a lot of fun as well. Yeah, I thought they were all really good in their own ways. And I really like the secret bosses in all of them. I actually missed the one in chapter 3, but I really like the ones in chapters 1, 2, and 4. Yeah, I don't know. This is a game that took the combat system from Undertale, which you'd think Undertale kind of explored it thoroughly, so you wouldn't think there'd be that much to it, but it just manages to keep it fresh like that. And yeah, I really, really loved it. The writing is great. I'm very, very invested in all the characters. The only thing, so I will say that chapter 2 and chapter 3 are probably the highlights to me of the four I've played, of the four
Mm.
we have so far. My only issue, one is a bit slow because there's a lot of setup to it, which is understandable. The issue I have with 4, it's almost kind of a Yakuza 5 type issue where they try to bring them all together, and it doesn't fall on its face like Yakuza 5 does. I think it does an okay job with it. But I feel like it's going to focus too much on an overarching plot instead of like the chapter based stuff,
Mm.
which I don't really like as a direction for it to go in. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, overall, really, really loved everything about these games. And they're still so funny. Like everything to do with Susie, which has an amazing character arc as well. Susie and the kind of budding romance between her and Noel is just really, really well executed. Yeah, I love it. Just I have no cynicism about this game. It's just Another Toby Fox banger, and may we get many more. This goes directly, without hesitation, into S tier.
Yeah, I haven't played 3 and 4 yet, but yeah, I've really enjoyed 1 and 2. I need to go back and do the secret boss for 2. I went there and then I was like, okay, this is gonna take a lot more time than I want to spend right now figuring out, so I'll be back one day.
Yeah, I think twos is probably, again, I've not done the one for 3, but I think he's probably the hardest one of the ones I've fought. So
Yeah,
I
because
can.
it was bad enough for 1. I had to have
One is
Ross.
also not easy.
Ross had to stand there and keep track of the turn order for me because I couldn't do that and play the game at the same time.
Right.
So shoutouts to Ross because like I can play the game, but I can't keep track of that and play the game, and because yeah, let's just say it's important for the fight.
Yeah, it really is. Um,
But it's a good
but yeah,
fight. I
I
love
would.
the song so much. I love the boss himself. He's great.
Yeah, again, another thing I don't mention just because I kind of take it for granted, I guess, which I shouldn't. But the music is amazing. Toby Fox games always have great soundtracks. So I say Toby Fox games as if it's anything more than, well, not entirely true. I was going to say it's just this and Undertale, but stay tuned. So yeah, that is my next one, and yeah, I guess you have one last non-joint one to talk about. So let's go ahead and do that.
All right, so the non-joint one is Blueprints,
Hmm.
which man, if you like puzzle games and you haven't played this, I feel like you're really missing out. Like you should really play it.
Hmm.
Also, your webcam went bye-bye.
No, that's intentional. I had to turn it off for a moment. Keep going. It's
Oh, okay.
I'll come back in a moment.
All good. Um, yeah, so it starts off simple enough. You're basically I guess I guess it's his grandpa, right? Grandfather dies, you inherit this estate, except not really because there's basically a test. You have to pass the test to inherit the estate, and that's what the game is. That the game is basically the puzzle of you inheriting the estate, which
Hmm.
honestly on its own is kind of like okay, I guess, except that you're like a teenage boy. But yeah, and yeah, one of the actually yeah, that was something that always was really funny to me. One of the conditions is that because of the way the game is, and it has rooms that change and stuff, you can't stay in the house overnight. You have to leave each night. So he's literally standing in front of a fucking mansion, like the biggest mansion you can think of, and he's sleeping outside in a tent because he's not allowed, because according to the rules he cannot stay inside. But
Until he actually finishes
yeah,
the
which
challenge.
which in hindsight that's really just the developer's way of saying you need to get the fuck out so we can reshuffle this thing. But
Right.
so it's like it's basically what would you say, procedurally generated. So like you start off in a foyer, there's 3 exits, technically 4 if you count the entrance cuz technically it does count. But anyway, you basically go into, you pick whichever door you want, and then it gives you uh rooms that you can pick, and you
Hmm.
basically make the map of the house for that day. And it sounds simple, right, on paper, and then like when you once you get towards like the end and you like really are figuring out what you need to do, it you actually start to understand how difficult it is to like force the game to like do what you need it to do, because the game can really like dick you over. Like there's things like you can end up getting things that like will make it so you draw more dead ends. So if you get a dead end, that's, obviously one door you can't go through now. Um
Hmm.
And yeah, basically, because if you end up stuck, like you can't open more doors or you run out of movement because there's movement, um, you basically you have to end the day. Uh,
Hmm.
but man, it's so good. I I felt like playing the game, I felt like the Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like the conspiracy meme. Because like we
Yeah.
Ross and I started a like notebook to play this game, and like I would basically play it at night and I would collect a bunch of information and then we would go over the information when he woke up and then like figure things out, and it was, yeah, it was honestly probably the most fun I've had like playing a game in a very long time, because it was fun just like figuring out everything and sharing that with Ross and playing the game alongside Ross. But yeah, I don't know. I hope I hope that they do another game, but yeah, I don't know. It's going to be really hard to top this game, I feel like. And there's like once you've beat the game, there's actually a quite a bit of extra stuff you can do, and it's actually like extremely hidden. Like you
Hmm.
kind of have to just like stumble upon some of the stuff, or like really like everything, all of the stuff is in the game, right? But it's, do you make the connection of the things? That's where you will either like succeed or run into a lot of trouble.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I really recommend it, especially like if you're unsure, just get it on sale and give it a whirl.
Yeah, my I really like everything people have been saying about this game, and I've watched people play it a bit, and it looks good. And the aspect you're talking about, where you actually like discussed the elements of the puzzle, while you weren't playing it, just casually between the two of you, that's really cool. I just I really am dubious about anything that has procedural generation in it. That's the big roadblock for me playing this game. But maybe I'll just get over it. Maybe I'll play it and we'll talk about it, and I'll talk about it next year. But yeah, that's the reason I've not gotten into it just yet.
Yeah, and I can understand that too, because it does get, once you get to a point where you have like in the beginning it's not as bad because you have a lot of objectives in the beginning. So if one doesn't work out, you're like, "Oh, well, I can just do this today instead because I ended up here." It's just once you start getting like, this is the last thing I have to do, that's when it gets really dire, of where like I need these maps to fucking work with me, or I swear to fucking god, like it gets so, it can get really frustrating.
Right. Um. Okay. So where would you put this?
I would put it in S.
Yes. Nice. Yeah, we're getting into the good games, getting into the good stuff.
Look, we have
Uh,
S's.
we do have S's. All right, so I am a bit parched here. Do we, since we're about to get into some of the games we probably have a bit more to say about, do we want to take like a very quick 5 minute break, just stretch a bit,
Yeah, that's
hit
fine with
bathroom,
me.
get some water? All right, cool. So everyone just hang tight, and me and Panda. Oh, I've got the BRB thing not quite high enough in the priority. Hold on, hold on. Yeah, and we will be back in a bit. So hang tight.
Yep, be right back, everybody. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I will just unhide us. There you go. We're back. Don't worry, guys. Thank you for the wide Boris garlic.
I almost did White Boris leave.
What do we want? Okay. So how many solo games do I have left? One, two, three, four. Okay, so yeah, I think maybe because we still have two, three, four joint ones to talk about. So I guess I can do one and one. Um, yeah, okay. So what shall I start with? I guess I'll bring the mood down because we talked about the S tier games. We talked about the ones that we actually enjoyed. Let me bring the mood down again for me as well because I wanted to really like this game and I could not. So my next game is the first Berserker, Kazan.
Oh.
Yeah, I played the demo for this game back in like early January or February 2025, and I really enjoyed it. And then I waited a long time to get it because people were kind of iffy about it. But I decided to bite the bullet and play it anyway. And again, the part of it that was in the demo, I still really liked. The problems in this game begin pretty much right after that. So, first Berserker Kazan, kind of a Souls-like in many ways. You got your usual move set, light attacks, heavy attacks, dodging, parrying, that kind of thing. Um, what it brings into it is it's like a bit more like Neo or games like that where you have a big aspect of it is having a lot of skill trees for the three different kinds of weapons you can get, and there's a lot of combos and a lot of special moves you have to use and a lot of abilities on the side. And I think it looks really good. The story and characters are kind of nothing to write home about, but that is also kind of par for the course with the genre. What is that does that fit with your experience of Souls like, I guess?
Oh my. Well, yeah. I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
I The hardest one for me, funnily enough, was Bloodborne because a lot of the story takes place in like the fucking item descriptions, it feels like, and like notes and
Yeah.
shit. And I'm just like, look, guys, I like reading, but come on. Like,
No, that is 100% a thing of especially the FromSoft Souls likes and a lot of the copycats kind of decided they have to do the same thing even though there's no reason to.
right.
One game I will mention very positively in this regard is a game called Steel Rising, which no one will believe me, but that game is a banger. Takes a lot of the good stuff from Souls likes and the FromSoft Souls games specifically, but actually does its own thing and actually has an original, unique story to it, which is not usually what Souls likes do. But yeah, with Kazan, it's nothing to write home about. And the thing is, the moment you get past the introductory parts, the demo parts essentially, the game takes all the really fun mechanics it has, all the because there's a lot of like there's like two or three different kinds of parrying in this game,
Oh
and they're
wow.
really fun. But then the game decides to be like, you know what? You can't actually use these because it gives every boss like a thing that negates all the benefits you would get from them and punishes you for using them, and it's so frustrating. And like it's really typified by, I guess, like the second or third real boss of the game, which is this big fire fucker. and every time you parry him, you take passive fire damage, and it's like, okay, so why am I parrying in the first place? So that's out the window for that boss fight. And they also added a platforming aspect to that fight, where basically the fight takes place in on two floors that you can move between using a ladder. And the problem is, like, that could be an interesting concept, but it doesn't add anything interesting to the game. Like, once you see him do a certain animation, you know he's going to burn the floor for that entire level. So you just have to go to the other one, but there's nothing interesting to it. It's like, oh, he's doing the animation. Let me go up to that floor and wait for like however long for that animation to take. Wait for him to very slowly go to the other floor with you, and then the fight just proceeds as it did previously. And that kind of thing happens repeatedly to the point where I really tried pushing myself to keep playing and just push through it. Maybe it improves. Sadly, it doesn't, and it's such a shame because the initial parts of the game are really, really fun, and then it just kind of falls off very, very hard. Yeah, I wanted to like the game, and yeah, very, very unfortunate that they just kind of whiffed it like that. No idea why. Um, I'm and it feels bad. It feels bad too because the studio that made this game actually shut down and they fired most of the developers.
Look, I walk,
Thank
and
you
look who's
for the
following.
follow, Zelbus. That is a
Chickens.
familiar name. Um, yeah, and just to be clear, like, I'm not gloating or anything. Far from it. I think it's very, very sad that this happened because I think they could have taken another crack at making a game like this and probably come with something a lot better. But yeah, unfortunately, kind of didn't fall through on any of the good qualities introduced in the early game, and now sadly it feels like it just never will.
That's
So
sad.
sad times all around. Yeah,
I
yeah.
So the thing with the ladder reminded me, like, I really, I don't know, maybe some developers do this. I really wish, the whole, like, if you can remove something from, like, a piece of writing and everything is the same, then it was unnecessary. It wasn't needed. I really wish that they would. I don't know. I don't know if people look objectively at their games like that at all because like that's what I was thinking with the ladder. I was like, if you can remove the ladder and nothing's changed, like if you can remove the second floor and nothing's changed, then it's like, okay, what was the point of having two floors for this fight? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, genuinely is like that, where it's almost like they didn't have any ideas and they were like, "Oh, fire floor." It's that kind of
Fire
thing. So
floor.
yeah, it's exactly what you're saying. Um, Also, Garlic said I missed this much earlier. I can't get invested in Souls lore for that reason. For it all being in it makes it a bit more difficult. I will say I think Bloodborne has legitimately incredible lore to it, so I think that's worth looking into. But I can totally see why some people don't
I
bother.
just I just asked Ross instead, so Ross can go, I don't remember, and then have to look it up and then explain it to me.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's
don't
fair
know
enough.
though, because I don't even mind the reading, because like for Sekiro, I didn't mind it. I I really appreciated in Sekiro for the most part. They just really took the simple story part and they just owned it. They're just like, all right, this man is just saving this boy and he's going to do it whether everyone likes it or not. I just really like that they just took that and they didn't really overcomplicate it a lot. Like there is lore that's really interesting in that game, but
Okay, so I'll say a few things about this if that's okay.
no, it's not okay.
Okay, then moving
No,
on. What's the
it's
next thing?
not.
No. So okay, first of all, Sekiro's presentation I think is better. They definitely FromSoft is a studio that, to their credit, has kind of gotten better in terms of their presentation with time, which is a big positive. And I do think Sekiro, because Sekiro also has a lot of extras and extra lore in it, but
Hmm.
it's that you do need to read item descriptions and read between the lines for, but it also introduces the main story in a more explicit way.
Hmm.
I will say, in defense of Bloodborne, there is something to the mystery and the feeling of this is a world where something is happening behind the scenes that plays really well into the Lovecraftian horror themes and the sort of way that the game kind of leads you on in a lot of ways through
Oh
the
yeah,
story. If that
100%.
makes
I totally agree. I think that mystery is what makes Bloodborne interesting because you're just like, what the hell happened here?
Yeah, and I think if it was more explicit about the story, it would really take something away from it. Having said that, there's probably a happier middle where you could have given players something more. But yeah, yeah, I can see why people don't want to bother. I will once again say there's a book, an actual book by a guy called Redgrave called The Pale Blood Hunt, which is a big exposition of Bloodborne lore. And if you don't want to go and read item descriptions on your own, I would recommend just reading that because it's super, super interesting. Great writer. He also made a bunch of YouTube videos about it. Zell is mentioning Vatividia in chat. I think Redgrave is the much more interesting and much less clickbaity version of Vadi Vidya. So if people like Vadi, definitely check out Redgrave's Bloodborne videos. They're called The Little Things in Yarnham because it's like the little things he didn't put into the book, essentially. Also, you love Order of Ecclesia? Yeah, I was blown away by it. I was very very happy to finally get to play it because it was stuck on the DS for a long time and it didn't emulate very well, so I couldn't play it up to that point. But okay, so that is Kazan said how that ended up, but it is what it is.
I did
So
like hearing your perspective on Kazan though, because like I feel like anyone I've asked about it has just been like, yeah, I'm enjoying it. But that's it.
there's
Like,
a lot of Yeah, there's a lot of damning with faint praise for that game, I feel. It's like, yeah, it's all right. It's like there are a few games like that. There's another one that I thought about playing but didn't actually get to play, Wu Chang
oh
Fallen
yeah,
Feathers. And then was also, yeah, it's a Souls like it was pretty good and I'm like, all right, well,
I
I
don't
I
know,
guess
but
I
I
don't
I'm not
necessarily need to
I
play
don't
another
feel
one
like
of
I'm
those.
lacking Souls likes.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. We're very much in a Souls like inflation. And also just a general inflation, but that is beside the point. Okay, so which of the joint games do you want to tackle first?
All right. Well, the one we agreed to talk about last is actually first, so let me fix that.
Okay.
Um, you can't wait until the soul bubble pops. Yeah, for real.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. What's up, PS? I was actually talking about you earlier today because someone in Gulch's chat, I believe, mentioned getting a Dreamcast and not playing a lot of games on it. And I was like, "Oh, my friend PSU Love Me plays a bunch of Dreamcast games." So yeah, I hawked your stream for what it's worth to a guy. So yeah,
Um,
you were saying.
I'm thonkin. I guess let's talk about Look Outside.
Okay, okay,
I just picked one.
yeah, yeah.
I
Go
will start
ahead.
with It's a Game.
it
I
is
love
it
it
is a
so
game.
much. It's so I love that like it gives you options and it lets you do them and like a lot of them are like really fucking awful, but it's just like, yeah, you can do it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, looking outside. The first thing you can do is look outside. I don't recommend it. Well, no, actually I do recommend it. You should do
I
it.
do recommend it. It's kind of funny because yeah, I did. That's the first thing I did, and I got the achievement for like, um, I don't remember what the achievement is called, but for those who don't know, it immediately game overs you, and you get an achievement called "looked" that says that you looked outside. So it's pretty funny. I will
But
give it that.
yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed like having all of the characters. Like there's so much that happens in this game that you can miss easily. And I think honestly it's fine because you can just replay the game.
Hmm.
The only thing that was I will say that it was getting to be I wonder if how I would have felt about the game if I had played it like on my own because I did stream this game. So I will say it was one of the more annoying games for me to stream just because like I don't know, there's just, there's just certain games that just brings like all of these people out of the woodwork and everyone has like an opinion on how you should do things and it's like, dude, I'm just playing the game, it's okay, like calm down.
I didn't remember that because I did watch you play quite a bit of this. So interesting because usually it's the older games or the Souls likes
Yeah, Souls like
that
yes,
bring out the
Sekiro
best.
was the winner. I don't think anything has topped Sekiro in terms of just not even backseating. There wasn't actually that much backseating for the game as much as there was just fucking weird people that came that just left weird comments. Like I think that was one of the games where we got like a lot of weird quotes added to
Oh
the
yeah,
thing.
that I do remember. Yeah, that I do remember. They're just being weirdos in chat for this game.
What did you think of Look Outside?
Well, let me tell you. Okay, so
Is
this
it
is
F
this is the
tier?
game.
Are we throwing it in the trash can?
Uh, we very much are. Yeah. So okay, so I'll start with the positives because I think that in terms of okay, so we should probably say a few words about what this game is because even though Panda streamed it, it was a while ago, and this is not a super well-known game. Um, so this is kind of like in terms of the setting. What happens is it's very again Lovecraftian horror. Basically, this entity that you later find out is just called I think they call him the Visitor. Is that right?
Yeah.
So the Visitor is this classic Lovecraftian kind of deity where they just come in and their presence is so powerful that it twists the world and it turns people into monsters, and that's why you can't look outside because just looking at the radiation brought off by this guy drives you insane and turns you into a monster.
Yeah, you can't
Um,
possibly comprehend it, so you just get twisted.
yeah, exactly, which is very Bloodborne-esque in that way. And over the course of the game, you run into people who are just, just regular people like you who are desperate. There's also people who have decided to worship this guy. There's people who have been turned partially into monsters. There's people who have been fully turned into monsters. And it's very interesting in that regard. I think the setting, the characters, the art style, the atmosphere of it are incredible. All really, really good. Like, it's a really incredible horror setting that they've created. The problem is in what the game is mechanically. And what it tries to do is make, and this is kind of funny because it's kind of like Parasite Eve in that regard, in that it tries to fuse survival horror with JRPG aspects. And I think it does a really, really bad job of doing that because the risks you run into with a survival horror game to me do not mesh well with the risks that you run into in a JRPG. it is not fun to like randomly get critted by a monster that you're not really meant to defeat at that point, and
Mm.
potentially be wiped at that point. And if you watch speedruns of this game, what they do is someone even left a comment on, I believe, what was at one point the world record for this game, which is like, I feel like I'm just playing the lottery every time I run this.
Yep.
And yeah, that's kind of what it is. You're just kind of hoping for good rolls, and I don't think it makes for a great time. Now, I will say the richness of all the different things that can happen in the game and all the different party members you can run into is really impressive. And if you enjoy the game, there's a ton of replayability for it. But to me, replayability only really matters if the basis of the game is good. And to me, that was just not the case here. Also, I feel like there's a very big design flaw again in like the horror versus JRPG thing, where my first attempt at the playthrough of this game was brought to an end because every time someone knocked at my door, I was like, okay, that's maybe a monster, so I don't want to just open the door and bring them in. And then you don't get any party members and you can't do anything. So it was very frustrating. So I don't know. Like on the one hand, you can say, "Well, that's you playing the game badly," and I'm like, "Fair enough." But I also feel like I played the game in the only way that makes sense, given what you know about the state of the world. I don't know. I don't know. Again, could be one of those things where like I would have liked the game more if I played differently from the get go. I don't know, man. To
It,
me, something about like all the pieces are there, but they just don't click together, and it made for a really bad experience. Even though I did finish the game, I forced myself to finish the game because, again, I found it interesting, but I still think it's really bad. Sorry.
I think it's like when it almost tries to be like a social experiment of a like, okay, if you're in the scenario, what would you do, right? Because there are people. See, like I guess for me, like I'm too nice, so my first thought is like, oh, someone's knocking on the door, I should answer it, right? Not like, oh, there could be something bad on the other side of the door. No, I'm just like, I'm gonna answer the door. It's someone's knocking, like kind of like the phone, like, oh, the phone's ringing, gotta answer it. Like,
Yeah, see, to me, okay, so the kid I did let in because you see a kid through the thing. I forget how you call what you see the
oh, the
other side of
people.
the people. Thank you. So when I saw a kid, I was like, okay, you should probably help a kid, even if it might be a bit of a risk. That's fine. And if there was so then the Jason Voorhees looking lady shows up, who's the
Oh,
goat, by the
Helen.
way. She carried Helen. Helen carried my party
I
through the
love
entirety of
Helen.
the
She's the best.
game.
She didn't approve of my gardening techniques, but
Yeah, she doesn't seem to approve of much. I did like Helen. But yeah, so if you were like, okay, one character where it's like a play on your expectations, that's fine. But everyone looks creepy, which again is kind of understandable given the setting, but also again, what am I supposed to do? You know? So
yeah.
yeah, I guess it's just one of those things. Like you say, it kind of, I guess, says a lot about you as a person, how you approach this game. Yes, I'm a person who doesn't like look outside.
But I will say to your point about like some parts being frustrating. So this game reminds me of like a very expanded like version of Sweet Home, which was an NES game
Yes,
that it's
I
very
can very much see
similar
that.
mechanic wise, I guess, except that you don't have like a bajillion party members, but um so one thing I could think off the top of my head was like when I decided I wanted to do the achievements, uh and we were trying to figure out why one achievement wasn't working. And then that's when we figured out that I actually locked myself out of doing it in the very beginning of the game when you talk to, I think it was when you talk to Jasper. Because, like, okay, I don't know how other people play, like, RPGs, but, like, I always exhaust all the dialogue options, right? That just makes sense. You're getting information. Well, in this one instance, doing that actually is against you, and they have the one option is above the other one, right? But you don't know that by just going down the list, because that's logical, right? I'm just going down the list and asking them questions. When you ask them that one, the other one disappears and it never returns. And so unless you were like really paying attention to it, like you wouldn't even notice necessarily that that other one disappeared, and you just can't ever talk about it again. Like it's just off the table for the rest of that run. You would either have to reload a save or start over. Basically it's gone. Um,
Yeah, and I don't know if you've ran into that, but it also something similar can also happen with the vending machine
yes,
character.
because if you don't
Yeah,
have enough money for the vending machine, and if it runs out of cans, I think too that can
exactly. Yeah,
happen.
like if you're not efficient in your dialogue choices, you can also get locked out of that. Which that in itself is fine. I can see the point in stuff that's not all in one playthrough, but yeah, it can feel a bit frustrating as well.
Yeah, I did. I actually think the game was better at like so some of the endings, like I feel like that's where the game really excelled was the endings, like the the dialogue and detail for the endings. That's where it gets like really Lovecraftian, I guess, where you're starting to realize the scope of what happened, and it goes into a lot of detail that was like really surprising. While some endings it's just like, well, that's the ending. Okay, bye.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, it was interesting because I didn't get all the endings myself, but I did watch all of them on YouTube. There's some interesting aspects to it.
Also the
Eh,
rat child.
Oh, the yeah, yeah, yeah.
He actually ended up
Trying to
being
think.
very good, but yeah, he does kind of clog up your party for quite a while if you like
Hmm.
want to use him kind of thing, but
My party was for the most part Helen and the two punk, like the two annoying punk guys, or
oh
guy
yeah,
and
yeah.
girl rather.
I think
Uh
well for most of the game I actually just had like I think like probably like the most basic party. Like I had the rat child, I had Helen, and I think the janitor, and that was it. That was like who I ran with like pretty much the whole game until like I started doing achievement stuff, and that's when like we added like a few more.
right.
Like the vending machine lady. She's I do like the vending machine lady.
Yeah, yeah, she was good. I also hear the janitor is very good, but I never like he was I locked myself out of interacting with him in my playthrough.
Oh, how do you do that? I didn't even know you could do that.
Uh yeah, it's about the order in which you go. This is also something that's a bit arbitrary. Like if you do rooms in a certain way, sometimes the character
Right.
will not show up. Yeah.
Yeah, which is very similar to like what I encountered with the one dialogue where it's like, okay, I was just going down the list, but apparently that was wrong, so
Yeah.
but yeah, overall I enjoyed it. I guess that's the thing though, like you were saying, it it seems to be a game that wants you to replay it. I just don't it in theory has a bunch of replayability because of the randomness. Like you're
Gustav
basically
underscore
just
13 just raided with
it's just
3
Gamba
views.
each time. But
Mm.
I don't know, because like if you're again, it kind of runs into a blueprints problem. If you're trying to do something very specific and like things are just like working against you, that makes it frustrating. Like for example, like the one ending where you need the stuff from the like weeb guy, like with the sword. But
Mhm.
if you never get him to knock on your door, then it's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Hi, Gustav.
Yeah. Our bots are fighting in chat. My bot deleted your bot's message. Oh well. Okay, so I've already revealed where I would put this game, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Sorry, like just to be clear, since this is a tier list, I'm kind of grading on a curve. So it's not like I'm saying this is the worst game ever or anything. I did think it was pretty bad, and along with Kazan, just the worst I've played. But obviously you can do a lot worse than this, and I bet a lot of games worse than this came out in 2025. Okay, so that's me though. What about you, Panda? Where would you put this?
I would put it at B
B. Okay. Okay.
because I enjoyed it
Solid.
enough. I think the things I enjoyed though were more like the side optional stuff. Like for example, the lady. So there's like a lady at the bottom who like it's like a word puzzle thing. And I don't know. She's certainly something.
Is that? It's not the tube lady.
No, I forget what is her name. I don't
Because that
remember
sounds
now.
yeah. Because that sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't know. It has been a while since I played it.
But yeah, I think B is fair.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Let me look at what I still need to talk about. All right. So let's do another good one. I am going to talk about OFF or OFF. I'm not really sure which one. So OFF is a game that I guess was a big inspiration, was a big influence on Toby Fox and Undertale. It is also similarly a pixel art JRPG type thing. Very, very obviously inspired by Earthbound, and I've been meaning to play this game for a while. There's a remake. Well, okay, the remake of it was announced a while back. It's not a. I couldn't quite suss out if it's a remake or a remaster. I think it's like an enhanced remaster. And
Within a month or two,
oh,
the time that Guns N' Roses formed,
Nadine,
were you aware of any of its members doing drugs?
I think everyone at different times, with the exception, well, no,
everyone, thank you, Nadine, so much for the 8 months. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Let me just put this in a different position slightly. Okay, so back to FF. What was I saying? All right, so yeah, they announced the, I guess, enhanced remaster of it last year, and or in 2024 even, and I was really looking forward to it because I anything that has to do with Undertale, I am interested in, and when I mentioned Toby Fox being involved in another game here, he wasn't involved with the original, but he did make music for this enhanced remake. And the setup of it is you control a guy called the batter, and he's literally just a baseball batter. He's dressed in the gear. He has a bat that he uses in combat, and right off the bat, haha, I liked this game because it's very sardonic, and it really breaks the fourth wall in that it asks you for your name, and the batter will talk to you directly, but the game makes it clear that you are not the batter. So the game is like intensely anti-immersion, which is great. The gamers do not deserve immersion. They do not need immersion. I approve of this very, very much. And the thing with the batter is that he is sent to purify the world from ostensibly monsters, and he's very unquestioning about this, and he's very cut to the chase. Like, people will try to have conversations with you in JRPG style, and he will just answer them very brusquely, like, okay, or yeah, or I'm going to do that. And it's really funny how that kind of seeps into every aspect of the game, because when you save the game, when you save the game, you pick a slot, and then it says game saved, and then when a normal game would, in the place where a normal game would write confirm or okay, it's just fine with the dot, which is really really good. So yeah, the game, in mechanical terms, it kind of has an A to B system to it where you pick your actions turn based, but when you act is based on the A to B gauge. It plays again, not necessarily in the most mechanically revolutionary way, but it's really really good in just the way it's designed, the way it's balanced. What's great about it is the twists and turns of the story, which obviously I'm not going to go into all of them um, because I would like people to play the game because it's very, very good. But like one of the first things you'll notice, and this is a very Undertale thing to do, when you beat the boss of the first world and purify it, if you come back to it later, the music is gone, the NPCs are gone. It's just like a white field, and if you try to explore it, you just fight very very strong and like you get very strong random battles that you can't flee from. So, you can kind of see where the thing from Undertale, where it has you question video game violence, where it kind of comes from and how it was um, influenced by this game. And I guess I will just leave it at that as kind of a teaser for what the game is like. I loved it. It is an absolute masterpiece in my mind. Maybe even broke like one of my top X games of all time. I don't know. I need to think about it more. But yeah, OFF, incredible, incredible game. Highly, highly recommend that people play it. There you go. Hey, Firelight, what's up? Follow a lot also played through it a while back. Yeah. Very like it is if you play the game and you've played Undertale and Deltarune in the past, then it's very obvious that it was an influence. Okay. So that is my solo game. What is our next joint game, Panda?
I guess we can talk about Promise Mascot Agency.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, for sure, for sure. PMA, hell yeah.
Also a game.
Also a game. How did you feel about PMA then?
I honestly adored this game. I love simulation games, so I really liked the like mascot manager aspect of it. I will say that it's not as complex as something I would normally want from a simulation game, but that wasn't obviously like the main point of the game, so
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't really fault it for being it is interesting though how it feels I feel like at first, like especially on a first playthrough, it feels like almost hard to make money. But then like on subsequent playthroughs it was kind of like, wow, this is not that hard. What the hell was I doing? I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Like at first I was actually scared that I would be stuck or something because of the lack of money, but once you kind of once you get a feel for the game, it's one of those games where it can be difficult mechanically at first, but you get past the hump very quickly.
Yeah, and the truck is actually really weird. Like at first when I realized like I remember when I saw like the ads and stuff for this game because I just chose not to play the demo because I was like, well, whatever, I'll just play it when it comes out. So I know about the truck, but I didn't realize that that was it. Like you don't get out of the truck and like walk around, like you are the truck.
Right.
Um so took a little getting used to, I guess, because part of me wanted to just be like, all right, let's park, let's get out. Like, oh, you can't do that. You are the truck. So, but yeah, honestly, once you get over that, which for me happened really quickly, I thought I would not like that really. But yeah, the truck's actually a lot of fun, and the physics don't make any fucking sense. So you'll just like bounce off something and end up like straight in the air or halfway across the map for no reason other than, yeah, that's how physics work, I guess. But the main part of this game, like the characters, the mascots are so good. Like I love Tofu so much. Pinky is great. Like all the characters honestly are really good. Like even the characters that are like little twats that you want to just like yeet off a mountain, like Toki or the even the mayor. Like I didn't think I would get so invested in a fucking mayor election. Like I was like,
mayor, yeah.
vote for me. Like I don't.
I've been listening to that mayor podcast, No Gods, No Mayors. So I've gotten very invested in mayors, but yeah, probably have never been that invested before this game.
Funny enough, yeah, I kind of that all kind of happened at the same time, huh?
Yeah, actually,
Were they predicting the future?
very. I think we're going through a very municipal time in world politics, which is a statement I could expand on, but I'm just gonna say listen to No Gods No Mayors, incredible podcast.
But
Um,
yeah, there's lots. There's honestly a lot more mascots than I thought there would be.
there's like 15 in total, right?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Hmm.
Unfortunately for like the speed run, we don't see like half of them, but and then we even had to cut salary on. Never gonna
Yeah,
recover.
a tragedy, a tragedy.
But yeah, I like he's great. Honestly, yeah, all of the mascots are good. They're like the weirdest. Yeah, I'm like I don't think any of them are like even like remotely normal, like or what you would expect of to see a mascot of, kind of like the cat, how yeah, he's just like an adult store mascot, like yeah,
Oh
okay.
yeah, that was something. That was one of those things where they like alluded to it at first, and I was like, oh, we're actually going for this. Yeah. Sorry, I'm disappearing briefly again, but you can keep talking. I'm here. I'm just doing things that I need to turn the camera off for.
But yeah, wow. Yeah, Koke. Koke is so good. I love Koke
Oh,
doesn't
I love.
yeah, Koke doesn't actually speak. It's like it sounds like I don't even know, like an instrument or something, but he's
He speaks
great.
directly to my soul.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the I don't want to go too into the story, but like you're basically a yakuza that was kicked out of your family and you've been sent to this place,
Let's be honest.
Kasamachi.
You're
What?
Kiryu.
Yeah, you're
Like
Kiryu,
they can for
basically.
IP reasons they can't say it, but he's
He,
voice acted by
he,
Kiryu,
he's
and his
basically Kiryu,
personality
yeah.
is Kiryu's. So yeah.
It pretty much, yeah. But yeah, you're sent to this place, Kasamachi, which is basically a place that supposedly kills yakuza. What that means, well, you don't know at first. You kind of figure it out later, but yeah. But yeah, your
Yeah.
main task is there's this mascot agency that has been run into the ground, and you need to make it successful. And good luck, because
Yeah.
you don't really get much help other than that.
Um.
But yeah, I don't know. It's so charming and delightful, and I knew I would enjoy it just because I like Kuroda-san was in it and like the game itself looked fun, but yeah, it was actually a lot more fun than I even thought it would be. What did you think?
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was a piece of crap. No, I love this game. This was a really nice surprise. I don't think I knew this game was coming out. Like I knew about that rabbit game that Kuroda was voice acting in,
Oh
which I don't
yeah.
think either of us have played. I think
No.
Garlic played that one and said that it was just kind of whatever. Um, but yeah, it's like okay, so what I love most about this game, and I love this in of a lot of my favorite games and my favorite media in general has this property where it just kind of tells you this is what this world is like, and it doesn't over explain it or apologize for it. So in this world, it's not like the mascots are people who are wearing, the mascot disguise, whatever you call it. No, the mascots are actual real creatures.
Right.
And I believe there's even like characters that are half mascot because one of their parents was a mascot and the other was a human, which
Yes.
throws up all sorts of interesting questions. But it just kind of tells you this is what the world is. It's weird. Just get used to it, and it works so well. Yeah, a lot more. There's more depth to the mascot minigame than you might expect, but it does become very easy very quickly, and then
Mm.
it kind of just becomes a bit of a hassle. And while I like the truck conceptually and all the extensions you get for Pinky, it is kind of janky. So there are aspects of the game that can get a bit tedious, and at times the game is very slow, which is why I have issues with the game. But yeah, it's just like you say, it's so charming and it's such like a chill time, just a game to kind of vibe to. It is very much a vibes based kind of game. I guess I would say the mascots are great. Like we've mentioned, Koke. There's a bunch of I forget the names because it's been a while now, but they're great. Like Tofu, everyone loves Tofu. We've got High Tofu in both mine and Panda's chats for a reason. Yeah, I really liked this game a lot, and I liked that. It was so committed to what it is, like better or worse. It doesn't do everything it wants to do perfectly, but it's sincere about what it's trying to do, and it doesn't do the thing like what I'm putting this in contrast to is a game like Stray, where Stray
Mm.
at first is, oh, you're just a cat and you explore the world as a cat, and by the end of it is, oh, you've got a gun and you fight robots. Okay, I've played this game before. No, Promise Mascot Agency is just you are a guy who runs a mascot agency, and that is your interface with the world. And yeah, it's just really original and interesting and fun. So yeah, cool times. So what would you put this? Where would you put this in terms of tiers then?
I don't know if it should go in S or A. Somewhere in there.
Okay, I think we can kind of split the difference because I was going to put it in A,
Fair enough.
but
That works.
we can just do you want to put it in A? Do you want to put it in between?
I'm fine with either.
Let's like put it like this. Like it's more in A, but it's got some S in it. Oh, speaking of S, dude, what's Natia Yoi Dojima called in this game?
Oh, I don't know,
Dude,
but she's hot.
she's so fucking hot, and they do like near the end of the game, they give her the like the icon where she bites her finger, and I'm like, oh, what are you doing to me? Jesus Christ. Also, isn't she voiced by the actress who does Park in Yakuza 5? Am I remembering that?
Yes, I think so.
And there's also like the ex CEO of Sony in the game. I think he's not very good. He's not a very good voice actor,
Oh,
but
yeah,
he's in there
matriarch
somehow.
Shimazu. Yeah, she's hot.
Mm, right. Okay. So yeah, that is Promise Mascot Agency. I guess I will do another solo one because we have still a surplus of that. So I did OFF. So I've got. Okay. Actually, I only have. Wait, is this true? Hold on. Well, I'll look at it later. But I will do another. I guess kind of a semi disappointment, continuing on my theme with Kazan. I'm
Uh-oh.
going to talk. Hmm?
I said, uh-oh.
Yeah, yeah. This is a game. I'm not sure if like people in chat have heard of this. This is a bit of an indie game. It's called Silk Song. Now, I am a big fan of Hollow Knight. I think Hollow Knight is almost a perfect game.
Is it S
Uh,
tier?
Hollow Knight,
Yeah.
it yeah, back when it came out. I mean, 2017 was so cracked that it might have honestly been A tier just because of how many good games were released in 2017. But it's like a 9 or 10 for me. It's really good. Um, Silk Song. It is still. I was looking forward to Silk Song for many years, like a lot of people, and I was one of the few people who was very. I didn't like how entitled people were with Silk Song because people were like, "Why are you not releasing it?" And like really ragging on Team Cherry, and it's like, you know, it's like four guys making this huge fucking game. Give them a break.
Right.
Having
Not to
said
mention
that,
they don't owe you anything, right? So,
yeah, and it's like, so I don't want it to sound entitled when I say that I don't think this game justifies a 7 year long wait. Um, and it really confirms the whole thing of a game that takes forever to make is not necessarily because people like to tout that old Miyamoto quote, which I also think was apocryphal, but the whole a bad game is bad forever, a delayed game is good eventually. No, if you delay too much, you get too lost in the sauce, and you kind of lose the plot on the kind of game you want to make. And the problem with Silk Song is, it still looks amazing. It still is very well made in technical terms. Hornet mechanically is super fun to control. Her moveset is great. I think her moveset is better than the Knight's moveset. But in terms of pacing, this game is kind of ass. Like it is so all over the place. It starts out great and then it really falls off. And I think the big problem is Hollow Knight had some very difficult boss fights to it. And it was brutal at times, but the point of Hollow Knight was not to be a difficult bosses game. And again, we run into this problem where every game these days thinks it has to be Dark Souls and everything has to be about combat and boss fights. And there's just too much emphasis on it in Silk Song. And when you pile up the difficulty so much for so long, it just gets really tedious. And that's kind of where I come down on Silk Song, where I wish they didn't feel like they have to put that much emphasis on the bosses. It would have made for a much better game. At the end of the day, I still enjoy playing this game. I've played it multiple times. I almost speedrun it, but the route ended up being kind of toxic, and I lost interest in it. But Yeah, it's a shame because I feel like if they kept the focus and if they forced themselves to release it after 2 years, it could have been, a smaller game, but a much better and tighter game. But as it stands, it is a bit of a disappointment. So I'm just going to put this in B tier. And yeah, unfortunate, but this is where I feel it belongs. Okay, so I have one more solo game, but I'll leave it for after the next joint game. So what do you say, Panda? What would we talk about next? I'm going to hide my webcam really briefly again. Sorry for that. But yeah, you can keep going.
Well, since we already agreed on the one game for last, I guess we just have Silent Hill F now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
So I was really excited about Silent Hill F from the get-go because it is written by Ryukishi 07, who wrote Umineko and like Higurashi. I've never played Higurashi, but I'm almost done with Umineko. I'll be done one day. I don't know. It's super long.
What
But
are those like visual novels?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, both of them are visual novels. So there's not really much playing. Like there's
Right.
not really much choices happening in that regard, but and I do think that if you're already like an Umineko or Higurashi fan, that you probably will like Silent Hill F too, because it's I there's a lot of similarities to like in both of them, like with the writing style, especially with the endings, like how you so the one thing I feel conflicted about with this game is like the endings. I love multiple endings. I don't know. I've just always been like I like the 20,000 weird ass endings in my spooky game person, but I know it's not for everybody. But this is one game where it's like if you don't see every ending, you're missing so much story.
Yeah,
So
because the first
oh, go ahead.
playthrough is basically it's like only half the game, if that, right?
Yeah, right. Like you're missing like it does a lot of setup and stuff. But yeah, you're missing like and most of that actually happens funny enough in Hinako's house. Like Hinako's house is very based off of like decisions you make and like which ending you're going for changes like the way the puzzles in the house work.
Mhm.
Which also changes the scenes because the scenes are based off of like whatever the puzzle is in the house at the time. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I'm really conflicted by that because it's like I don't know. It feels like I've really been thinking about this a lot lately about games not respecting the player's time. And I think
Mhm.
this kind of falls into that because it's like, should we really be expecting somebody to play a game 5 times to understand the overarching story of a game? I don't
How
know.
much I guess my question is how much overlap is there between the playthroughs? Because, on the surface of it, you can say if it's, if it's like one playthrough, but the second time it's completely different, then it's essentially just another part of the game. So what
Okay, I
would
see
you
what you
say is
mean.
like the ratio of it?
So, really, it's the same. Like,
Oh, really?
the story only really changes because that's the cutoff point for the story is entering Hinako's house. That's like the point of no return, basically. well, okay, technically, depending on the ending, there's a point before that, but whatever. That's basically the main point of no return that the game sets is like whatever you've done and decided before you enter her house is basically sets in sets in stone what the ending is. But most of that takes place in Hinako's house, which is that's where Hinako's house is very different for each ending basically. Except obviously the UFO because you don't even get to her house in the UFO ending. Um so yeah, you're right. That's basically what like 8 what is it, 7 or 8 chapters or something that are basically the same until you get to that point and then it's different. So it's like that's a lot of game to play again, you know.
Yeah. I kind of figured a significant part of it would be different. If it's mostly the same, then yeah, that's a bit not great.
Yeah, it's mostly the same. And a lot of
Mm.
it too there's other little things that happen, but it's like I don't know. They're so little that it's like I didn't even see some of them. Like I watched a video that pointed them out and I was just like, what the fuck? How the fuck were you supposed to notice that? Like they weren't like significant things like, you know, like you've just missed a big part of the story if you didn't see it. It was just like little connections you could make, but it's like I don't how would somebody notice that? Not to mention it's like when you're playing a game like 5 times, you don't really remember like one person
Thanks for
who
the
was
follow.
standing off to the side in a specific part. You know what I mean? Like it's like
Yeah, yeah. There's there's stuff that's reasonable to expect people to notice, and then there's not. Yeah, I get what you mean.
so yeah, that's my biggest conflict with the game is like I just don't know if it's fair to expect a player to play it that many times just to get the whole story. And it's like you really have to get the whole story because it's like you can't sure. To be honest though, depending on the type of person you are, the first ending is a story. You know what I mean? Like it's a complete story. You can just end there and it's fine. And I think it's fine for what it is for being like a spooky game. Um but yeah, I guess it just depends on how you are, but overall I guess ignoring that, like I really liked the setting. The game is beautiful. Well, if you can get it to run on your fucking PC, it's beautiful. um like I like Hinako, I like her character, I like how in depth they went with her. Like for example, like the dodging and stuff is explained because she literally like does track. You know what I mean? She's not just like it's not just a like oh my god, girl has superpowers suddenly. Like no, she does track. She's athletic. It makes sense in that regard. I just like stuff like that, and not that it matters. But and honestly, I like the characters too because all of the characters I feel like are very important. Like you might not like them, but it it's basically a game that's showing like relationships and how like I think in a more realistic way of like these are flawed people. Everyone has their own story and like uh they don't really apologize for it either. Like their I guess opinions or you know how they are, how they got to the decision that they made. I don't necessarily agree with some of them because like for example like there's in one of the endings I won't go into the specifics but there's a scene with like Hinako's mom where like Hinako is like going into like she's like explaining the father's behavior and stuff and I'm sitting here like nah, 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 not listening because like I just at that point I just don't give a shit because like I don't like people who enable abusers and that's what she felt like to me like she was just enabling him and not protecting her kids basically.
Right. Yeah.
So in that regard he's a good character because he served his purpose well but also fuck him. So, um it the way the story is told though like how you're in the overworld and then you go into like the dark shrine which is essentially like supposed to be like when the siren goes off and you enter the like fucked up side of Silent Hill, I guess. Um, I like the shrine, but I can see why people got really like tired of it after a while. Because I will say, like, the combat is tedious, like, especially like in a first playthrough, especially if you played before the update where they added casual difficulty, because um there's a big I'm assuming that has a lot to do with it, but Hinako's Japanese voice actress tried to play the game live on stream and she couldn't play it. So that I think that was actually a big
That's amazing.
proponent in them like making casual difficulty, because she was like crying on stream like she couldn't finish the game, and I was just
Oh.
like, "Oh no." But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it was so, because the casual difficulty felt more like a hard difficulty to me. Or not, the casual story did. It didn't feel like a normal like a typical normal difficulty to me.
Mhm.
And yeah, there was parts where I was getting tired of the fights. I was just like, I don't want to fight anyone ever again. Like, please just go away. But yeah, I like the story mostly. Yeah, my biggest gripe is just I don't know if it's fair to make people play a game that many times, because I don't know, most people aren't weirdos like me who just want to like play a game 20 times because that's just what they do.
Yeah.
That's true. They did. I do respect the developers for listening. They did listen well. They added the casual difficulty. They added the ability to skip the 2 chapters, which were the very combat heavy chapters that had all the force fights. So you can just skip them. After your first playthrough, obviously. I think for the first playthrough you don't get that option. Um but yeah, for consecutive playthroughs you skip that, and that does save quite a bit of time.
Mhm.
Did you I guess let's did you finish their first playthrough? No.
No, okay. Okay. So, I knew a lot of people were excited about this that Ryukishi, did you say?
Yeah.
His involvement in the game. I didn't really know who he was. Now that I know that he's a visual novel guy, that makes a lot of sense because this game does kind of feel like when you have a story guy directing a game and he has a
Mhm.
story he wants to tell, and then everything else is like just add some combat in between things. um I will agree. So I got to the end of the school bit. I think that's as far as I've played the game. Which is that about halfway through?
Uh I would say the school's pretty early, maybe halfway almost, if not
Okay.
halfway.
Yeah, I didn't last long either way. So yeah, so I agree that from what I've seen from the story and the characters up to that point, really well done. I think the game's atmosphere is great. I think setting a Silent Hill game in 60s rural Japan and using that as a way to talk about conservatism and gender roles and that kind of thing is a very very inspired choice. And from what I've seen of the game story, just watching your playthrough of it and runs of it and stuff, it seems like that persists throughout the game, like that continues being good. But I found the act of actually playing this game to be just intolerable. Just terrible because I did play on story difficulty and I think hard puzzles
Mhm.
per the internet's recommendations. And yeah, fights were really tedious. Everything is super, super tanky. And that's one thing. And you mentioned the shrine. I don't know if this is the part you mean, but like the fact that you have to explore and do the puzzle, and they're like just enemies are constantly spawning in and chasing you down, I thought was just a horrifically bad design choice.
Yeah, in the
Like,
very first part. Yeah, because you don't I think based on where you got, I think you might have gotten. So they do at some point introduce a mechanic where, you know, like the lanterns, like if you defeat an enemy in the presence of the blue lantern in the dark side, like they will be absorbed by the lantern. But they don't introduce that until like a few chapters away. So that might actually be the next chapter after the school one. I can't remember when that takes place. But
yeah, and it's a bit too little, too late at that point. Also, I thought it was really so. The thing is, combat is tedious, but it's not difficult. It's actually really easy. The only reason that I sometimes took damage is I got so tired of how slow combat is, where I was just like, I essentially got greedy and got punished for that.
mm,
But as a result of that, you don't really use healing items that often, and you keep picking up items, and you've got such a tight inventory limit. So you're at least the way my brain works is I'm like, oh, I have all these items. I don't want to just throw them out. So every
mhm.
time my inventory gets full, I go all the way back to the lantern to, offer to give them all as offerings to get the whatever the money is called in the game. I don't remember. So it's this dynamic of do puzzles that the puzzles from what I've seen were good. I will give the game that. But you like go, you do puzzles, you do a bunch of uninspired fights, you get some items, you go back to the shrine, you give the stuff away, then you keep exploring, and then you just do this back and forth to the shrine, and it's so fucking boring.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I did the same thing. Because I could not part with my item. Like I couldn't drop it. So I would run all the way back, turn it in, go run all the way back to the item I was trying to pick up, pick that one up, and then go pick something else up, be like, oh, full again, go all the way back. Yeah, I did the same thing.
yeah, so yeah, just in mechanical terms, it was unbearable to me. So there's so much good in this game and so much I wanted to like, but I couldn't stick with it. I just, according to what you say, I've not even made it halfway through the first playthrough, and I
No.
was wanting to quit much earlier than that. So, take that as you will.
I
I
I think you
was
raise a
kind of
good
raw.
point though. Like your point about like I definitely do feel like if you removed the combat, right? You could remove the combat and leave like the puzzles and like the story in place and it would be like a good visual novel, I feel like.
And you know what? If you if you were to insist on this game needing combat, which I don't think it does, but if you were to insist on that, why are we doing like this weird souls like combat that really has no place in a game like this? If
Yeah,
it
I
was
don't
even just traditional Silent Hill combat, or one of the types of combat that were in some of the earlier Silent Hill games, I feel like it would have worked much better and would have been a lot less tedious. Like,
mm.
why put in a leveling system? Why put in all the parrying and blocking bullshit? It's just so unnecessary.
Yeah, I don't that's a good point too. Yeah. I see I'm not like I enjoy Silent Hill, but I wouldn't say I'm like the hugest Silent Hill fan. But um so I've never really been like married to any of them or like the combat. So but yeah, I the combat in this is way more it is simple, but it's like it is way more involved and it's like I don't really know either what the point of the Souls like combat is other than I guess that's just what's in now.
Yeah, and I feel like partly it has to be their reaction to the really like the brain dead Twitch chatter take of Silent Hill is the better story, but Resident Evil has the better gameplay, which is like it's. I always felt like Silent Hill has exactly the kind of combat it needs to have, which is combat based on it being a survival horror game and not an action game. But everything has to be an action game these days, so yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's true, like with the guns, they're not available, but it's like it's more just I feel like you could have just the
I
game
mean,
would have been the
are
same
we
without
really
the combat though.
bringing realism into this game? Come on, that's I'm sorry, that's weak. That's incredibly weak of an argument in favor of it. And even if you wanted to keep it melee, it doesn't have to be Souls-like combat. It can just be a lot more
Yeah,
straight.
because like Silent Hill 2 or 3. Because, like, yeah, the combat was never really like a big part of Silent Hill to me. It was just like there's just enemies and you kind of have to get them out of the way or just ignore them, to just do what you need to do to progress the story kind of thing.
You know, funnily enough, what Silent Hill game had a big emphasis on melee combat is actually Origins, which is maybe not the example you want to take. Also, to an extent, Downpour, which I like, but most people don't. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, if you've given me Origins or Downpour combat, it probably would have dramatically increased the chances of me sticking through at least the first playthrough. But yeah, I don't know. So where would you put this then in the grand scheme of things?
Personally, I would give it an A just because like I really enjoy the story. I like it's a very Ryukishi story. It's very Umineko coded. Like you can almost to the point where it almost some occasionally feels like it's beating you over the head with Umineko, but which is fine with me because I like it, but um
Is it kind of the same themes roughly as
I don't know if I
that
would say
game?
it's the same themes, but he does seem to enjoy storytelling of like he likes to get everyone's point of view. Like he doesn't like to focus on one character's point of view. So you end up getting
Right.
the whole story by seeing everyone's point of view, which I do like because like in Umineko, for example, without spoiling it, there are characters that are like legitimately fucked up. Like they just do fucked up things. And like you see what led them to do it, but the game doesn't like apologize for it or anything. It's just like, well, here's the fucked up thing they did, and here's why they did it.
Right. Yeah, which is fair enough, I guess. To me, sadly, this is much lower. This is in my C tier. I yeah, like I think I think we probably agree on the strong and weak aspects of this game, but I guess for you the story just pulled it ahead a lot more, and for me the combat just made it too difficult to enjoy the story.
Yeah, and I totally do agree with like what you're saying about the combat because I was feeling that too. Like probably in like the part you're about to get to, that's where I was really right when you get into like the Fox part shrine stuff, like that just got so I was just like, can we be done now? Which is funny because that ends up being, in my opinion, a way better experience the second time around because you've already done it, so the game doesn't make you do it again.
Right.
But it's like, but getting through it that first time is like, so yeah. It could also be a bit of rose tinted glasses from my end because like at this point I've done more speedruns of the game than played the game casually, so
Yeah, and I will say there is something to how to put this. There's something to introducing a difficult problem in a game and then introducing a mechanic that helps you deal with that problem to like appreciate the new ability or the new addition, whatever that you got. Um, but the baseline problem has to be, to me, more interesting than guys keep spawning in to chase you down. But okay, I guess unless you had something else to say about Silent Hill F.
no, I think we're good.
Okay, then I previously talked about a bad ninja game. Let's talk about the good ninja game. Let's talk about Shinobi, Art of Vengeance. My game of the year by, well, I don't know if by leaps and bounds because a lot of these other games were great too, but yeah, this is a definite game of the year for me. So I played a lot of Shinobi on the Game Gear growing up. I played a little bit of Shinobi 3 on the Mini Genesis. Great game. I actually almost finished it, but I got a bit stuck near the end and kind of fell off for reasons that I won't get into. Point is, I've not played a whole lot of Shinobi. I mostly played the Game Gear 1 and Shinobi 3. So I don't know what transpired in between the games I've not gotten to play because there have been a lot of Shinobi games over the years, but this is the first one in I think like 15 years, I want to say. And man, it's so good. So for those that don't know Shinobi, it's this long-standing series of action platformer games. You play Joe Musashi. His name is not Shinobi. I also thought his name was Shinobi growing up, but it's not. And this feels almost like a prequel. Again, I don't rightly know where this is placed in the Grain series timeline. It probably doesn't matter that much either. But yeah, it's a game, an action platformer that just does both aspects of the action platforming great. What can I tell you? um, in terms of the combat, it's got this really interesting interplay of different systems that really reminds me of all things of Doom 2016, where you kind of have the chainsaw that gets you the ammo, and then you beat enemies and do glory kills to get health, and then you use that to recharge your saw and stuff like that. And there's a bit of a similar interplay between your regular moves and your special attacks and your ki and your ninjutsu in this game. It all kind of feeds into each other, and when you learn to use all those things in conjunction, it's really really satisfying. um in terms of the flow of the wave fights and the boss fights and that kind of thing. The game looks amazing. The second stage of the game is you riding your dog through a battlefield while melodic death metal plays in the background and you just fight ninjas like that. What more do I need to tell you? um, there are a couple of bits near the end of the game that are not as good, but other than, and when I say bits, I don't mean like two levels. I mean like there's a tiny bit of a section in the level that's not great, that kind of thing. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I kind of loved the hell out of this game. There's so many unlockable moves in distinction from Ragebound. All the moves, or at least most of the moves, feel really satisfying and really useful for different play styles you could use. I mentioned I hope that the game looks great. The soundtrack is amazing. I don't know. Yeah, this was just a very pleasant surprise. I'm glad that, a series like this that has not really had a release in a very long time can just come out and um, you know, at least blow me away like that. I also believe that the guys who made this are the same team that made Streets of Rage 4, which I did not care for, so it's always nice to, play a new game by a studio whose previous work you didn't necessarily enjoy and be um, pleasantly surprised by it. So yeah, great game. I hope more people would play it. I think it got it was released, I believe, like a week before Silk Song. So
Uh,
unfortunately, I believe, yeah, that's unfortunate. I think it was probably very badly overshadowed by it. But if you haven't done so yet, I hope you will consider playing Shinobi Art of Vengeance. And yeah, that is it for that. So I guess we're just left with what I guess is kind of the main event for today. Are you ready to talk about some pirates? We've done ninja games. Are we ready to talk pirate games?
yeah.
Yeah. All
Not
right.
just
So go
pirates,
ahead,
but
Ben.
also Yakuza.
Yeah, he's a pirate. It's like
And in
Cyborg Ninja,
Hawaii.
and in Hawaii, like Cyborg Ninja from Metal Gear Solid, but even better, and in Hawaii. So,
Yeah,
so why don't
so
you start us off, Panda?
like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii is a mouthful.
Yep. Yep.
Honestly, I adore this game for the most part. I loved being able to play as Majima again. Um I had a lot of fun playing the game. There's a lot of stuff you can do, like, the cooking, um obviously like all of the pirate stuff. You have the whole ship too, and you can go, I don't know, be a pirate in that whole storyline. But yeah, honestly, I feel like for the most part, I really enjoyed this game. Except for the fact that we saw Keith like, I don't know, fucking 30 times or some shit. And I don't
Yeah.
know. I maybe it was just me. It really felt to me like they just wanted him to be Kuze, but he just isn't Kuze. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's really funny that you fight Kuze 5 times, and he's this iconic and fascinating villain, and then you have Keith, whose name is Keith and is Keith, and you fight him 6 times.
Yeah, you fight him more times than Kuze, and he's just like nothing. He's just there,
Yeah,
just a fucking dude. Yeah, his name
and
is
also,
Keith. Yeah.
yeah,
Also, hey
uh,
Doobie. Great
yeah,
game,
hey,
but felt like
Doobie.
a rehash of, yeah. Well, yeah, the assets are 100% the same, but that's RGG classic of
Yeah, the
that's
assets
how
are
they churn
super
out
classic.
the games quick, which thankfully for the most part, I feel like Pirate Yakuza was unscathed by the Kiwami 3 treatment, thankfully. That was before he hit his
Yeah,
head. I don't know. I don't know
yeah,
what
yeah.
is going on
Well,
there, but
well, mm, okay. So personally, I really liked this
hey
game.
Lucy.
I thought that I legitimately think this is the first Yakuza game in the Dragon Engine where the brawler combat is actually good.
Yeah, I
I
enjoyed the
will say
combat a
that.
lot.
Yeah, and it's really good. I really the addition of a jump to the moveset, you wouldn't think it would
It's
matter
so
that
good.
much, but it's so good, and it really opens up a lot of options. Um, Also, I don't like to extrapolate the quality of the game from the speedrun, but the fact that we use so many of the abilities that you can get as Majima in the speedrun kind of speaks volumes to how better the upgrade system in this game is than a lot of other Yakuza games. Even Yakuza games that I think are better than this, like Yakuza 0, still the best game in the series, but the upgrade system is kind of bunk. And in this game, it's really good. So the combat, all the mechanical aspects, really, really great, which makes this a very, very good speedrun. Um, in terms of Yokoyama bullshit, I think this game's story is like almost objectively a hot piece of ass. It is so bad. There's so many characters whose potential is never properly used. Um, it's a side game, so I guess it's understandable that not much happens that affects the main story. But it really feels like characters are kind of thrown together. The stakes are just so low. They introduced the queen as this really interesting character at first, and is also voiced by, again, the voice actress that voiced Park, I believe. Am I correct about
Yeah, I
this?
think so.
Yeah.
That whole I loved her, and that whole thing made me sad.
Yeah, it's really bad. So yes, I think this is probably the best Yakuza game we've had in a long time. It still bears all the marks of a modern Yakuza game in that sense, you know. And again, in terms of asset reuse, it's true that there's a lot of things from Yakuza 8 that they reused here, but I don't mind that because I like that I don't need to go to Yakuza 8 to enjoy those things. I can enjoy them in a
That's true.
Yakuza game that I actually like, you know?
That's
I
fair.
will say, in the year 2025, it's unfortunate that this is where I saw the most Nazi thing I've seen all year, which you wouldn't think. There's so much Nazi stuff in our world, but yeah, Pirate Yakuza somehow just kind of brought that in from nowhere, which yeah, was something. Yeah, I don't know. This was the story aspects were bad, but there's a lot to love here. You can tell they really enjoyed making this game because there's so much attention to detail and all these little things they've added, like the pirate Bunchan or the pirate animals in the golf course. All that stuff was so good, and they didn't have to do it, but they did it. So I thought that was really cute. Panda, are you muted?
Oh, I was muted because I was typing, but
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah, I was just responding to what Garlic, because Garlic said, "Fuck, I reset from my memory," and I'm like, I can't even remember it, so I guess.
Oh, so during okay, so let's talk about one of the worst aspects of this game. I think the sub stories are overall pretty good in well, actually are they? I don't remember.
Well, they were
'Cause I
better
used
than
to
Infinite
love them.
Wealth.
Yeah, which is a low bar. I think they were kind of I think there were a few good ones, maybe a few not so. No, okay, I was thinking about some stinkers, but those are from 8. Yeah, it makes it very difficult to tell the two apart. I don't know. Think the sub stories were probably mostly okay. Um, but then there was the whole um thing with Masato and what are the girls called? There's like something
Oh,
girls.
yeah, yeah,
Is it Miyazato? It's not Miyazato. That's from Kiwami 3.
the Minato girls.
Minato girls. There you go. Thank you, Doobie. Um, yeah, so that stuff is horrid, so fucking cringe-inducing.
Yeah,
And there's a cutscene. There's the live-action cutscenes, which are horrible to sit through. And in one of them, the guy actually puts on a Hitler mustache. So thanks.
Oh, right, I remember that now. Yeah, when he was the chef, I think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny because if you take out that part, like I thought the girls' sub stories were actually really good and interesting. I liked those. But then
The
it's like why
individual
did
ones.
yeah, like the
Yeah,
in-game
the
ones.
individual ones are
And it's
great.
like, but
Yeah, yeah.
why did we have to insert this part exactly? I don't know. I much would have rather have had hostesses, like normal hostess game, if they wanted to do that than this shit, you know? Even if it was
Yeah,
live action hostesses, I would have much preferred that than what we got.
yeah, very, very much so. Very much so. That was something. Yeah, I don't know. This game, some of the later, okay. So we can talk about how this game took the thing from Gaiden, where the second chapter is way too long because they push you to do um, a lot of side content. It kind of took that and ran with it. Like chapter two, you think it's going to end at a somewhat reasonable cutting off point, and then they're like, "Oh no, we need to force you to do side content for like 3 hours." Um, really bad pacing wise, but the Devil Flag stuff again. The combat in this game is good, so most of it was decent. There's a few maps that are annoying. Amon in this game, again, in keeping with a lot of the more recent Yakuza's, is kind of nothing. He's really easy. I don't know. I found no challenge in that fight. Um,
Yeah, I think I did it in the second try, so
yeah, me too. Like second, third, something like that.
it wasn't even
Yeah.
interesting either. Like I know it's really stupid. I know it's stupid, but the Yakuza 6 Amon fight is my favorite because it's so fucking stupid and they just are like, "You know what?
Amon
It's
is
already
really easy
stupid. Let's
though.
just keep going." It's not even a hard fight. It's just so stupid that you're just like, "Is this even happening right now?" I think you if you die in that fight, it's more because of a shock of what's happening than you actually dying to the boss.
Yeah, I mean, I am pretty sure I just unlocked him on with just doing quick step strike from behind, and you can just completely melt him down like that.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't take the crown from OG Yakuza 2 Amon, but it's
Yeah,
pretty bad. It's on that same tier.
yeah.
But
I don't know.
I
Is
really
there?
like oh go ahead.
No, no. I was just gonna ask if there's any other aspect of it you remember wanting to talk about.
I really like the Bond scenes, especially like with Saejima and like with Minami and Nishida. Those were so good. I loved them so much. Those was my favorite. I didn't really care for the ones with like I think Jason had some. I was like, yeah, whatever, I don't give a shit. But you know, like most of them were fine. I actually really like. I thought they did a really nice job of bringing Minami and Nishida back in. Um,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
liked their
Actually,
presence a
I really
lot.
like that Minami came back because he was not actually in any of the games since Yakuza 4, so that
Yeah.
was nice to see. Yeah, no, the Bond stuff I agree was great. Everything with Saejima, with Nishida, Minami, and kind of getting to see that aspect of what Majima is like, what he was like as a leader to these people, which is something that you kind of see you see a bit of in, I guess, Majima Saga, but you know, um, it's something that doesn't get explored enough. So it was really nice to see it in this game.
Yeah, and I like how he was just like, "Wow, you guys deal with a guy like that? Like, sounds like an asshole kind of thing." And I'm like, "You're literally talking about yourself, but okay." And, like he was like so
I mean,
flabbergasted
look,
that he would act that way, which was really funny to me. That
yeah,
was before he got like his, memory back or whatever, but where
yeah,
he assumedly just went right back to how he was.
probably. I also
Um,
really like the like credits scene with well, I
oh
won't
yeah,
spoil for those who have not played it, but yeah, you know
it's
the one I
good.
mean.
It's
Yeah.
good. It's very good. They should have more silly stuff like that.
Yeah. Because the thing is, and that's the problem. I think this was supposed to be a comedy game, but the comedy mostly doesn't hit, which is weird because these games tend to have pretty good humor in them a lot of the time. But I don't know. In this game, not so much for me. Um, but yeah, I like that they decided to focus on large scale combat in this game. Not just in the big team fights that are actually a bit of a mess, but also Majima's entire kit is kind of designed around the idea of fighting even more dudes at a time than Kiryu. Like you
Yeah.
go up against dozens of guys at times, and it's pretty cool.
I also appreciated that I could make I kind of wish we had more customization options, but I did appreciate that I could make the ship pink as I could make it.
Yeah, that was great. The customization, the cosmetics that you can have them. I think this is the first time in a Yakuza game where you. Oh no, that's Gaiden actually, where it introduced the thing where you don't have to wait for premium adventure to customize things,
Yeah, you could just have a costume in game, which was nice.
and that the game had New Game Plus, and that it actually remembered the costumes you had on, so you could
Yeah,
just use them
yeah,
in New Game Plus runs.
yeah. Thankfully, that's one thing that even though we're not talking about that game, but Fatal Frame 2 Remake did is it remembers the costumes at least because that would be really annoying.
Yeah, I guess that's a sneak preview
Yeah,
into
the
next.
sneak peek.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, you know, for as really, really bad as the story and some of the sub story stuff was, yeah, was very happy with this game. So I think we've talked about this ahead of time, and I think we're both putting this in A tier. So we're not ending on an S tier, but we're ending on a positive note. So, you know, and overall, oh, by the way, before I summarize, did you have anything else you wanted to say about the game?
Oh yeah, we didn't really talk about the ship combat. What did you think about the ship
Uh,
combat?
yeah, I think. Look, I realize it's a side game. They couldn't put everything in it. I really would have liked it if you could upgrade the ship's movement speed and especially the turning speed because man, that was kind
Mm-hmm.
of through a lot of the
Or
time.
at least let it
The ship,
drift better or something. Because
yeah,
like it
something
can
about it.
drift, but it's still like not. I don't know. It doesn't feel right. That's like the best I can put it. Is it just doesn't when you control it, it just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right.
Yeah, very much so. I agree with that. There's definitely a lot to a lot to be desired in terms of the ship combat. If they try to do something like this again, I hope they refine it somewhat because it definitely again because I speed run the game, I know at this point how to do it in a way that doesn't feel too bad, but I think casually it's a very, very rough aspect of the combat.
Right.
Okay. And with that, I believe we finished our Games of the Year tier list in a snug 3 hours, which is unprecedented for us.
Yeah, I feel
Um,
definitely a
with
record.
these games, we agree with and Blueprints. Oh yeah, this is the only game that both I and Damino played this year. So yeah. Which, by the way, you'd think one of us would have told the other about this, but no. Somehow we both heard about this game independently. So there you go. Um, But yeah, good to see you. I hopefully will talk tomorrow. Okay. So yeah, I will say I think we were overall pretty positive this year. Like the games are very weighted upwards. I think yeah, we mostly have stuff on the positive side here.
Yeah, I
So
only played good games for once.
I think once you don't have the time to play a lot of games, you kind of just, you don't seek out the bad games. So the obviously bad stuff gets filtered out. So there's a bit of selection to that. Oh, I will say, I'll very briefly mention this. These are games I've not played in a really long time, but I've not played them in 2025 for the first time. MGS3, I played the PC port. Chrono Trigger, played it again for the first time in like over a decade easily. Both hold up extremely well. They would have been S tier um, or A tier. Both Chrono Trigger definitely S tier. MGS3 maybe A tier if I had placed them, but they don't count. So you know, there you go. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add, Panda?
Well, we already know we played a questionable game already this year, so
Quite, yeah, a
stay
couple of
tuned
them.
for next year.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, like I said earlier, I hope that we will get to meet in at AGDQ in January, and if we do, then we will just do this then again for different games of 2026. Um, okay, Panda, are you going to keep streaming?
No, I'm gonna go eat.
Oh, okay. So, do you have an idea for a raid?
Kyo's is just went live like 30-ish
Oh,
minutes
okay.
ago.
Yeah, we can raid Kyo.
And I haven't rated him in a while because I've been ending late.
Right, right.
Somehow. I
Which
don't know.
which has been to my benefit, but yeah. All right, folks. So we are going to call it here, and we're both going to raid you into Kyo. Cool guy, friend of both our channels, doing some Final Fantasy 15 speedrunning. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support throughout the year. And we will see you, well, on this channel. I will see you probably on Saturday. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
Panda
I'll
is
see you
streaming
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yeah, and we'll see you for this again, hopefully in January. All right, folks, have a good one. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Oh yeah, hold on. Did you
Holding.
raid yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't hit
Oh,
the button yet, but I
okay,
can
cool,
wait.
cool. So, real quick, just do one of these for the picture of the tier list. All right, folks, we're gonna raid out. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye bye.
Bye.